1 minute. Okay, it is 8 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. If we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Tom, you've got something for public discussion?
Just for a few seconds, are you ready
Sure,
for me?
yeah, go ahead, yep.
Come up here?
Yeah, you can come up to the podium.
So I just got two topics. The first one is this thing with the engineer. And I have a few concerns with that, and I just want you guys to use caution. I'm glad to see two of them here, quite honestly, because I was very disappointed when I watched the debate. A lot of them hadn't been here, they said they hadn't been here, their knowledge is low. On the other side, you got a candidate running that's on the school board that is out of control, can't even hold with inflation, not even close. So I'm really worried, if you do decide to replace this engineer, do you have a plan B? What is your plan B if you replace him? Who's gonna replace him and at what cost to us? And so as a taxpayer in this county, I'm kinda concerned that, will you get someone that's vested in this county? Will you have someone that cares about his roads as much as maybe Doug Miller does? I'm just curious if you do have a plan B for what happens if you do let him go. What candidate do you think you'll pick up, and at what cost, and at what experience level? And it looks to me like three of you are the ones wanting to replace. And so I'd like to hear from all three of you, if in fact that is the case, what do you think you will get for the next candidate, or the next engineer, and at what cost to us, and at what skill level? Anybody?
Yeah, do you want us to go ahead and answer that?
I would like to know. Does
Okay.
anybody have an opinion on that? Because,
Yeah, I guess for me, the contract discussion wasn't with the intention that we would be replacing an engineer next month.
okay,
So I guess I wasn't coming from the same
okay,
perspective there. That's not why I walked into that conversation.
okay, that's, you know, that's.
So no,
what-
I did not have a plan B.
Okay.
So I didn't think we were getting rid of plan A.
Well, it's not my decision to make. I'm the guy that writes the checks. You guys are the ones that receive them. So it's your decision to make. But in whatever decision you make, though, I would like you to consider the county for the expense that possibly if you were to replace them, you're gonna get someone with less experience. You're probably gonna, and I've been around this county a long time. I know some of Doug's faults is that he's very passionate about his roads, and it's hard to convince him otherwise, I understand that. But at the same time, I would think there'd be some middle ground we could work with, because we have an engineer. I don't know that you're gonna replace him with someone with the experience level and that. The only other comment I got is sometimes I watch this meeting and it seems like a lot of animosity on this board. And I would like to see the board get a little more cohesive, please, cause I watch it and it's sometimes embarrassing. That's my only other comment. And I appreciate you guys' time.
Yeah, appreciate your comment.
But please consider that when you're negotiating, and I think there's give and take on both sides of that negotiation. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, anyone else for public discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will take a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes from May 5th. Motion by Garmin, second by Haas. Discussion on the agenda or minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Discussion with the secondary road foreman, good morning, guys. I can see,
Good morning.
can't see either of you. That's fine, that's fine. Does the board have anything for the foreman or vice versa? Anything you wanted to update the board on?
Things going good out there?
Yeah, it's, road conditions just a little dry. I know there's got some rumble strips here and there, but until we get some moisture, it's tough to get rid of them right now, so as soon as we get some rain, hopefully we get that stuff taken care of.
Yeah, I think, the road department, they're doing as well as they can with the gravel roads. We have been placing a lot of material on roadways. We've been working it in, but rain would help allow us to get more road maintenance completed. Having said that, I think our roads our gravel roads, paved roads are all in good enough shape. We feel pretty confident. Visiting with Scott and Brian as far as moving over to a 4 10-hour work day. We're tentatively have that scheduled for Monday, which I believe is the 18th. Unless the board has any concerns about doing that, we will go ahead and have Scott and Brian start getting that word out to all the road employees to get it for the new week schedule. The other thing, Lisa, we did receive dust control locations from Dino's on Thursday, or maybe it was Wednesday, late Wednesday afternoon, I think Thursday. The locations were sent to Brian and Scott, and in turn down to the operators, and compliments to the operators, Brian and Scott, but all of those locations are now ready for dust control. So Dino's Dust Control has notified us. We still have other dust control vendors that apply dust in Kossuth County, but they have not contacted us with any locations to prepare. So, but other than that, I think everything's going pretty well.
Not that it matters, but where's Dino's dust control from?
Mason City, they're based out of, it might be Clear Lake, I'm not sure
Maybe
where
Clear Lake.
exactly, somewhere over there. Dean Schaefer, he has he does a lot of different types, snow removal, yards, dust control, that kind of thing.
Big semi-trailer, then he comes over with a spray bar on the back. He can do multiple locations at one time.
Does that typically last a long time? Like when you do it like this time of year, does that last?
Oh, I was driving over places last week that, we had not resurfaced and the dust control was acting fine. I mean, there's places where it depends a lot on traffic that use the road, how much maintenance we do on it. I think even on roads that we place gravel on top of, if the opportunity, it will bleed up and into some of that aggregate. And keep that moisture, if there is moisture, bring that moisture to that granular particles. So it's kind of a variable type thing. A lot of people will have a second application July or so.
Latter July. Yeah.
So kind of the end of May, 5 or 6 weeks of having another second one. And that's the same process usually. The vendor, they will notify us, we'll go out and we will touch up the area that has been prepared or had the dust control app applied, and then we will, get that ready for them, and we'll tell them it's ready. Just in case any road alterations need to be made, and we do send a letter to all people that have applications notifying them that if there is an issue with the road, or we have to do something with the road, we have the right to do it. And then in October or so, we start getting ready for snow removal.
The bridge south of John Besh's there, where Jonathan Chambers had turned in a request to have that cleaned out underneath, I just wondered, is that on the docket for,
We have not done anything with
okay,
that yet.
cause there's a couple feet of
That
Box
box,
culvert?
yeah.
that, or yeah,
And it's- we need to go down and look at that too.
cause that
In
drowns
the
out
culvert, or?
30 acres probably.
Yeah, the tile that comes in with that box is lower, and then the creek outlets on the private side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what we can do to make that better.
Well, I think there was a couple feet of sediment buildup in there. I know Nathan Schmidt was out there the one day and measured it. But, yeah, just didn't know if that was on
Yeah.
the docket to get
We
done.
haven't got to it yet.
Okay.
Do you know, I mean, if Nathan Schmidt did he do some survey work there that he would share his information with us, or?
Yeah, I bet he would.
A lot of times, depending on everything, it depends on whether there's an outlet or not, things will silt to a point there. And that one in particular has, is there two culvert that are cast into the head wall.
Inlet side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, going under the road south there, yeah.
It
Are you
runs
talking the
east
one
and
on the
west.
gravel or the one?
Well, that's where you're talking, the two culverts?
I'm talking the new one on the blacktop south.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
okay,
tile
okay,
Yeah,
that's
are
right.
cast into the inlet of the box,
But
and
there is also
that
another
runs
one
east and west.
east on that gravel, there's also, but is.
There's two big ones
Am
there,
I
yeah.
talking about the wrong one then, or is it?
No, you're talking about the right one, cause those culverts are fine going under the road there, I think.
Okay.
It's just underneath the big one underneath the blacktop is where it's built up. And it looks like the water's just hitting it and it all backs up there. I mean, and you can drive by the last couple of years, and I know we've had a lot of rain, but it does
But if
drown out.
they're- If that ditch is full,
On the
going
outlet
to the
side.
west,
That's
it
correct.
isn't,
Might be
it
worth
isn't gonna
visiting,
do anything, so I don't know
might be worth visiting with Nathan about it and if you don't,
about
I know he did
cleaning
some,
that ditch.
he did some surveying there as far as, well, we can't clean that, I think that's a private ditch, yeah.
So,
But I think the level underneath, I think there'd be enough fall is what I'm getting at, to still outlet into the ditch. It just needs cleaned out underneath the road. But you can visit with Nathan about it.
I mean, that culvert was placed, and if there is enough fall, if there is an outlet, there would be no reason that sediment would get trapped in
Okay, something to look at,
there, yeah.
appreciate that.
Alright,
Yeah. I don't have anything else, yeah. Okay, thanks for your work, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. ARHC,
Good
monthly
morning.
report.
Happy Hospital Week. This is Hospital Week, so we're doing
Oh,
a
is it?
variety of
Okay.
activities to celebrate our staff this week, which is pretty awesome. As I'm sure many of you are already aware, I was named one of Becker's top 2026 CEOs to know.
Congratulations.
Thank you, but we know
Yeah,
that isn't
congratulations.
about me. It's not about me at all, it's about our team, so we have really probably the best doctors and such a great team, so we have a lot to be proud of. I'm just happy to be in a position to help support them. So as we recognize our team this week, this morning's our omelet breakfast, but we're also recognizing our Daisy Award and our B Award winners. And we had a lot of nominations for both this year, so that's a pretty remarkable thing. I know you've seen our financials. We're actually sitting okay. This is the first month of the fiscal year that we had a loss from operations. So we're over $200,000, almost $250,000. I don't think that's a long-term trend. It's certainly something for us to pay attention to, and we do. Year to date for operations, we're still at a little over 2 million to the positive, so a good thing is we're going to get through that. We've recently been here quite often to talk about the EMS or emergency management facility, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate all of the time and effort that you've put into that, and your willingness to at least explore that alternative. And from Kossuth Regional Health Center's perspective, it seems like this last, the second option seems like potentially a doable thing, maybe. Kossuth Regional would fund up to $1 million if you want to pursue that. That's totally up to you, so let us know, but we're willing. We know that that strategically provides a good opportunity for EMS to advance and grow, and we know they certainly are growing, there's no doubt about that, as they cover the county. So, our last board meeting, our board approved $4.6 million worth of capital improvements. That's a lot, you know, so it's the necessary things of just doing business, but we're bringing in a robotic surgical instrument, which is important for Kossuth Regional Health Center in our future. And also we're bringing in-house MRI. So both of those will be financially sound things to do, but expensive, so. Equipment's expensive, so. As you know, we lost a member of our work family this last month. That was Carol Lee Weiss, who worked for us, who was killed at that intersection of Hoberton and McGregor. So thank you to each of you as you consider alternatives, perhaps, you know, or at least look at it, you know, for that intersection. It's always hard when we lose a member of our work family. She died at a young age, so it's a tough thing. And then we've been welcoming new providers to our service. East Village Podiatry, East Village Foot and Ankle is providing enhanced podiatry services for us, and they've already started and have been busy in the clinic as well as in the operating room. We also welcome Dr. Tan. He's an OB gynecologist, and he's here 2 days a week now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and so he started and hit the ground running already. He'll be providing gynecology services for us. And then an occasional C-section call coverage, so there are 2 regular physicians who cover the bulk of C-section call and have a bit of a break now and then. So that's an important thing for us. And then urology. Urology's coming out of Spencer, so we have 2 urology physicians, Dr. Caliguri and Dr. Milliman, who have already provided services for us and will be coming on a routine basis. So just trying to meet the needs of the community as we move forward. What questions do you have for me? Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Yes?
Well, Dar, yes, Howard and I were talking, I know it was on his mind, but what is the relationship between the county and the hospital? Is there any legal relationship as far as, does the county have any, you know, last resort ownership of anything, or are they just, because you're a taxing entity, is that the only reason that there's that relationship, or what, how would you define that?
At the end of the day, should the hospital go belly up, the
Right,
county would,
absorbs it, or, oh, okay,
yeah, so you don't want us to go belly
no,
up.
please don't,
Yeah, we're fiscally sound.
okay. No, I was just
We're
curious.
organized, you know, it's a little bit odd, but the Iowa chapter, the Iowa code has county hospitals, and then they have this odd thing, which is chapter 347A. And I say it's odd because it's unusual. I think there's only 3 chapter 347A hospitals in the entire state. And it's the way that we were organized. So Kossuth Regional Health Center was originally a Sisters of Mercy hospital, and then over time became a county hospital. But we became a county hospital through the sale of revenue bonds, not the general obligation bonds of the county. So all of the rest of the county hospitals in Iowa were brought in under GO bonds. But Kossuth and 2 other county hospitals were brought in under revenue bonds, which is that 347A distinction,
Okay,
yeah.
Well, now we know. And what's the distinction between that? What's the?
The taxing authority is different. A general hospital, county hospital, not a 347A. 347A is limited to a taxing authority of $1.08 per millage rate. A general hospital, county hospital, can tax at 27 cents per millage rate for multiple areas with, and I shouldn't even say, because I don't know what the current max is, but it's something nearly $3 per millage rate. And so they can tax for various categories, including EMS. 347A can't tax for EMS, but a general county hospital can.
interesting.
That's why we have a separate
And like
EMS levy.
the general obligation bonds would be across the whole county, the revenue bonds would have been in like a TIF district that we're talking about now. I would,
Potentially, I'm not really certain about that, but
okay, I would think, I know the TIF district, that would be revenue bonds if it's specific to the TIF, but
For the hospital?
I don't know about the old stuff, it might have been, but I
This
don't know
was-
if they would
I
have
was
had
like a
anything else to sell
child.
revenue bonds back.
A long time ago.
it was back in the 70s, early 70s.
Interesting, so thank you for that.
Other questions, I can do some more research if you have specific questions. So,
No.
there isn't much of the code that pertains specifically to 347A hospitals anymore that sets us apart. But one of them is the taxing authority
Okay,
and the maximum millage rates, $1.08 versus like nearly $3.
okay.
Is there a resolution that's brought in here every year for that? At one time there was.
For,
That
For the
to-
taxes.
For the taxes, yeah.
We submit to you our tax budget each year.
One time there was resolutions that were approved in here. I was curious about that a while back and then I never thought to ask, but we could go back. I know that we approved resolutions for that every year. Not for a long length of time, but for a few years, we were approving the resolution that showed what your rate was.
I know we did that when we had the max tax levy and they had to approve it by resolution. No, not that, okay,
No, it was something totally separate,
okay,
totally separate before
So
our,
sorry, I don't know what that would have been.
yeah.
yeah, we'll have to look back at that. Yeah.
well,
Thank you.
anyway, thank you,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
have a
appreciate
great
you being here.
Yes, I'll stay and listen to Phil.
Okay,
I'm short and sweet today.
Yeah, perfect.
okay, well, before we get to Phil, we've got, we need to acknowledge transfers made by the Kossuth County Auditor from general basic to secondary road in the amount of $14,172.10. And from rural basic to secondary road in the amount of $98,247.23, transfers made on May 4th. So we'll acknowledge them for the record. Next, we have discussion decision approval of Kossuth County Emergency Medical Services Event Standby Services Agreement.
Morning.
Good morning, Phil.
So I met with Todd here a few weeks ago. I was able to find several different standby event agreements around the state of Iowa that were currently in place by their EMS services. So I took those down to Todd and we met and we went through some of those agreements that we had, and then I left the stuff with him and he compiled this agreement for Kossuth County. So what we ended up doing was, this is an event standby agreement which will be used for all events in Kossuth County, not just specifically for a bait, based on our prior conversation. So it will be used for the races, it will be used for the fair events. Any special event that we cover in Kossuth County, we use this agreement for. So it's to cover all events, not just one specific event. It does list in here the services we provide as well as the cost. And we left at the cost that we discussed of the $25 per hour for non-dedicated standby and $50 an hour for dedicated standby. That is way cheaper than anybody else in the state of Iowa. But we are staying consistent what we're currently charging the races. So they will not see an increase in what they pay us, nor will the fair events, that will stay the same. And then with the abate, they'll have the option of, you know, the non-dedicated or the dedicated standby, which however they want us to cover their event. So, I had a copy of this in you guys' packets. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, if you had any questions on it. If you have any questions on wording, we may have to call Todd. As I say, if he put it together, I've read through it, I don't see any concern with any part of the agreement.
Didn't even catch any typos or anything like that, I guess. I'd make a motion to approve the agreement for future uses.
Motion by Stecker to approve the agreement for future use, second by Garmin. Any discussion on the service agreement or the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Have a good day, yeah.
Thank you.
And then we have, let's see, Roger is here, we've got discussion decision, approved sheriff to purchase and upfit a 2026 Chevy Silverado patrol vehicle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So each year I budget for purchase of 2 patrol cars to rotate throughout our fleet. And we have a Chevy Silverado setting down, ready for us to pick up. I think you guys got this in your packet, the estimate.
Yep.
It may change a little bit, cause I may swap it out for a different trade. We're having some mechanical issues with one of our vehicles that I might move it up a few months and trade that one off now and keep the Ram. But what you're approving is the purchase of the Silverado and the upfitting of that, which obviously I won't know the upfitting costs until we get it closer to set up. But typically it's in that $18,000 to $21,000 range to upfit a vehicle. So that's what we're looking at doing now, is getting the Silverado here, and then we'll either be trading the 2019 Ram or 2021 Ford. I'll make that decision here yet this week on which one we're gonna trade in. So the bottom number of 43.8 may change a little bit depending on the trade-in value.
Okay.
I can make a motion to approve the purchase.
Motion by Haas to approve the purchase, second by Stecker. Discussion on the purchase.
And just so you know, that top number 49 is the current state government bid for a vehicle. It just depends on what we are allowed for trade-in to reach that bottom number.
Okay. Alright, no further discussion or questions, then all in favor of approving the purchase, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, then we have discussion, approve law enforcement contracts with cities in Kossuth County.
Yes, each year we send out the contracts for law enforcement coverage for our incorporated areas. We have 10 communities in Kossuth County: Burt, Fenton, Lakota, Ledyard, Lone Rock, Laverne, Soy City, Titanca, Westland, and Whittemore. The only town that's not on this for contracts is the city of Bancroft. That's because they have their own police department. Currently they have a police chief. So these are the contract or agreements that we sign out each year to go into effect July 1st. I'll hand them to Carter, because once you guys approve them, they'll need signatures on each. This is where we collect the $2,000 from each community. We do not provide them any set hours of patrol, but we respond to calls and routine patrol throughout the county.
Does anyone wanna make a motion to approve law enforcement contracts?
Is that the amount it's been for years and years?
It's been for as long as I've been here, yeah. For as long as I've been knowledgeable of the contracts, yes.
And they used to be 1,000 and that went up years ago, but.
I'm gonna guess 15 plus years ago, probably, somewhere in that neighborhood.
With our cost for law enforcement, it probably should be higher.
That would be a decision you guys would have to make.
Really?
Yeah, cause I'm not gonna, I don't think I can stand here as the sheriff and justify charging towns more when we can't provide any set of hours for patrol coverage. It would take, probably have to double our force of deputies to provide each of them 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week, whatever they would prefer. But right now, we don't guarantee them any hours of coverage. We respond to calls, and then we do routine patrol throughout the county. We get to the communities as often as we can. But sheriffs that actually have contracts with them, that charge either through taxing of the population, they guarantee them hours of patrol coverage, where there's actually a deputy in that town for a set amount of hours per week. And we just can't do that with 10 communities in the county this size because of our response time and other calls.
He's the experienced one.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Wactor to approve, that's the contract as written here with the 2000, yep, okay. Second by Garmin. Any further discussion on that?
Nope.
Yeah, oh, you look like you're gonna say.
Nope.
Okay, if not, then all in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Thanks, Roger.
You can just sign them at your convenience, and I'll
Okay.
pick them up later.
Okay,
There's the envelope for
very good.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we have discussion with IT, server phone system. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
We got a couple things on my list to go over before I'm done tomorrow.
That's tomorrow?
What's that?
That's tomorrow?
It's tomorrow already, yes. So, probably the biggest, piece is the 911 portion. And Iowa Code 34A, if you wanna look at that, has statutes that any dispatch center is required to follow. So one of those requirements is to provide a position called 911 coordinator. For the last 5 years, I have served as a 911 coordinator with your approval through a contract between the 911 Joint Service Board and the county. That contract is what's called a 28E agreement, and we can provide a copy of that. The 911 coordinator position is required by the state through either way, 28E agreement or a direct employee. So to talk about that yesterday, we met with the sheriff, police chief, the chairman of the 911 Joint Service Board, TJ and I, and had a conversation about how do we handle that. Does the 911 Joint Service Board take that back and just hire an employee directly? Does the 911 Joint Service Board continue to use the county IT services for that? And what we came up with is that the smoothest transition would be for the county to appoint someone to fill that position from the IT department, because the crossover is so in-depth nowadays that it makes sense to continue that service. But that's a conversation that you guys are gonna have of, do you wanna continue that? Who do you want that person to be? And move forward with that. So, our discussion was having TJ fill that role yesterday, and I would suggest that you guys do that and appoint him as the interim IT director to cover that. But that's a conversation that you guys are gonna have on what you wanna do moving forward.
I had a call from David Trunkill as well,
Yes,
affirming what you just stated there.
yeah.
And I would confirm it as well. I was in the meeting, and with today's technology and everything that's going on, we definitely need somebody with IT skills to be part of that 911 coordinator position. It's changing daily, it seems like, and needs to be somebody that can stay upbeat and on top of the IT skills of it.
Right, so it used to be back in the day that you'd have a portable radio and it would use radio towers. The new radio equipment has cellular backup built in, so the radios that we have now have a Verizon connection as well, which has been a lifesaver in the schools. So right now, with our normal radio system, we don't have coverage once you get inside the schools. So we did a test of 3 of these radios that have Verizon built in, and we have full coverage inside Algona schools.
The wireless microphone now also has a body camera built into it and has language translation built in. So I can say convert to Spanish and we can have a conversation in Spanish to English, which we tested yesterday. We're planning on bringing EMS on board with those as well. So the body camera portion has historically been separate from the 911 portion, but the integration now is so much that you really need an IT person to be able to handle that transition. So TJ's been helping on the radio project for quite a while here, helping get that going, so he's familiar enough to speed with that project, so.
Derek, can I add, it's not just schools, it's a lot of different types of buildings around the county that when you enter them, you lose service.
Right. The new high efficiency windows have a metal coating on the outside of them that really blocks the radio signal. So without having some sort of backup, the radio coverage just dies all over it. That's-
And the alternate is get a tower, correct?
Yeah, we did get pricing on the tower, it was about $1.6 million, and we didn't think that that was reasonable use of taxpayer money, so. Okay, so you guys have to talk about that a little bit more and make a decision on that when you're ready to do that. Any questions on the 911 portions?
No, nope.
Okay.
Yeah, and our next agenda item is server phone system,
Yep,
so.
so one of the projects that you guys have already approved, well, a couple things here is, number one, the budget for IT will come in under budget, and the 911 budget will also come in under budget with the projects that we have open. So copy machines, we have a couple more copy machines that are coming next week that will fill that. TJ and Scott are aware of those, so those will be coming. That's pretty straightforward. The I-Series server, so there's a server here that runs assessor, auditor, treasurer, recorder, and the engineer's office to a certain extent. That server we've talked about for a long time with Solutions being the software provider of that. We've extended the life as far as we can of that. We talked about this last fall. It is on the budget for next fiscal year, which will be after July 1st. TJ is getting a refreshed quote. It'll be about 70,000-ish, 75, after we pay for all the services. So our contract expires July 1st or August 1st. Yeah, so I've got an agenda request in for Tammy for next week for TJ to bring the quote to you guys, so you guys can officially approve that per project after July 1st. So I hope that you guys just check that off so we can move forward with that. We have to have a new server to be under contract with Solutions, so kind of not much of a choice there. The new software company that we talked about for quite a while, they are moving full speed ahead. They've got 7 counties signed up with their product. I think they have 4 now that have usable working software for a couple departments. So that will be coming, but realistically, it's gonna be a couple years before that's a product. We could just go and say, yes, we wanna buy this product, so. A lot of moving forward on that. Phone system, so we have a phone system that when we purchased, the vendor had a full, what's called on-premise phone solution. They've been in business for 40 years. They decided that there's more money to be made in the hosted product, which would be a cloud-based product. They can make, 5, 6, 10 times the amount of money doing that. And so they closed their on-premise solution. So we're in a spot where we have support through a local vendor, but the manufacturer of the product won't give us support anymore. So if we have a major failure, we're gonna have an issue. That phone system supports the law enforcement center and the courthouse as well. And so we need to start having a serious conversation about what do we do moving forward with that. It's not a, we have to do it instantly, but we definitely need to have a conversation with where do we go with that. It will be an operating expense instead of capital expense, and it'll be less per year than a major purchase, but you need to have those conversations. And TJ's got some experience with phone systems as well with his previous employer, so he's got some ideas already for where to go with that, so.
You said less per year than a major, but more
So
overall.
instead of correct, so instead of a $100,000 purchase once every 10 years, it's $30,000 per year, so. Yeah. It adds up a lot more over the course of 10 years than a single purchase. Okay, help desk tickets. So I went through and documented all of my projects, put them into our help desk tracking system. So these guys are aware of that. TJ also has access to my emails, so he's able to keep track of that now. There's about 90 help desk tickets, which is projects and work that needs to be completed. You guys are gonna be losing 33% of your labor for the IT department until you guys hire an additional person. That workload is gonna go up, customer service is gonna drop, and so I would ask that you guys talk to the department heads and say, hey, for the next 4 months, you need to be patient with us because we are gonna be behind. So, I hope that you guys are supportive of these two guys and have those conversations with those folks. And that's it for me. So you guys have anything else that I can do to help for the next day?
So I was gonna bring this up at auditor discussion, but I might as well bring it up now. I know Derek talked to Joel Roney, who does IT support for ISAC. Joel reached out to me and offered services to help with, onboarding, job description, interviews, anything that we might need in the meantime to help with this downtime. So Joel's coming here at 2 o'clock today. I've asked Doug and Donna and Amber to sit in with me on those, so that we can get a plan and make sure that nothing's missed in that process. So we're gonna do that with Joel at 2 o'clock today to help with this process, because I don't know anything about IT and we don't wanna miss anything, so, that is gonna happen today at 2, just to kinda get our ducks in a row.
Yep, Joel and I have helped hire a lot of IT folks out of their county, so he knows the process and how that works, so he'll do a great job for you guys. Yep, absolutely.
Is that something I can sit on as well, or
Sure.
I'm gonna be here
Yeah.
for you as well, so.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I have.
We gonna have a conversation now about appointing TJs for the,
Well, it's not on the agenda,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's later, okay?
so we'll have to do that.
Are we gonna need a special meeting for that, or is it something that can be handled next week?
I think if you guys handle it on Tuesday of next week, you'll be fine. If you go much longer than that, the state's gonna have an issue.
What,
I
what
did
on
talk
the
to a
agenda?
state 911 person,
Appoint a new
I
911
was aware that there's gonna be a
coordinator.
transition period, so.
And it would be appointing a new E911 coordinator or an interim E911 coordinator, just so I'm clear, or that's up to the board.
That's up to the boards. Yep.
Okay. We can talk, DJ.
Alright, thank you guys.
Alright, thanks, Tucker. And then we have discussion decision to set starting salary for IT position. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, what are we gonna hire?
So when I did talk to Joel, he did say that he did look at the salary and he thought where we're at right now is right on track, so, just to let you know that, so.
124.8.
That's where we're at now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was, well, July 1st of, last year, so.
Okay. He's at 124.8 July 1st of last year, or that's what he's getting paid now?
That's the current.
That's what
That's
he
the current
makes right
salary.
now.
Right at this moment, so
Okay.
it's not July 1st.
Okay,
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah.
that plus a 3% or 4% or whatever it was, yeah.
What did we do?
3, I think we did 3,
Yeah.
didn't we? Yeah.
So is that the complete package, or is he got other titles that involve more money?
Those are separate.
Those are separate. E911 is in here as an hourly wage. Derek Olson, $60 per hour. Don Heiner, $29.50, part-time help, $20 an hour. Is what 911 is in
Yeah,
July 1st wages as.
okay.
Is that the only other one?
I think
I
so.
think it's the only other
I
thing
think so.
he does is it something you wanna advertise a range based on qualifications and experience? Because it's gonna differ between candidate to candidate, and what their strengths and weaknesses are, but.
3% would be 128,544.
Okay, so if he's at 128 come July 1st, do you do I don't know how big of a range you do either, is it? You're in the IT world, Josh, I don't know if you have any insight on that, but,
I do IT, I don't set salary.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think a range would be alright. Said we're already in the okay kind of thing, so I
Yeah.
don't know why we couldn't do a
Like a
120 to,
okay,
120, 130.
120 to 130, but we're gonna probably land on 128,544, that's what we have budgeted. Like, we can't probably go above that, so.
So then maybe we should just do
I'd probably
the
say,
max as our.
I'd probably say 100 to 130. Based on experience. You don't know who you get or whatever, but
I don't wanna go over the 128,544.
So we just set the max at the
I was
120,
just
cause
trying
that's
to
what our
think about
budget has set, so we'll just set that as the max, and we can just do from 110 to 120.
Thoughts?
Well, when we post it, a range is preferable. Again, looking at the ISAC listing, and I just was aware that this Josh was coming this morning. I think probably heeding to his advice, again, it's not my realm. I mean, you can search everything and you can find every number under the world, it's what you want, and what you value.
averages can be spun different ways.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we set it at a range of 110 to 128,
Okay,
544.
544.
okay, there's a motion by Wactor to set the range from 110 to 128, 544,
I'll second it.
and that's seconded by Garmin. Discussion on salary range for the IT position.
Just, I don't have a problem with it at all, just, you know, if you're going to, and if you're gonna, you don't know what you're gonna hire, I guess is my point. Is the low end too high if you're gonna hire somebody that's, or I realize you're not gonna get anybody with any talent with.
I don't think it's, no, just going off of, I know it's been how many years ago, but just when we hired Derek, just the salary range at that point was difficult to hit, so I think this is fair.
You
I
gotta,
do, I think that's
We
fair.
don't wanna go too low, because then you've got too much room to make up, and that's too much, you know, to increase each year if we're trying to catch back up to, you know.
Yeah.
And then also, if you set it too low, I mean, you wanna get good candidates,
Right.
you wanna put a good pay out there for those candidates, so that way it attracts more people.
Right.
So,
especially if you're looking to get an applicant that has past either management experience in the IT world, or you're pulling somebody away, incentivizing enough from another job or whatever, it's, yeah, I mean, it's a competitive field.
Yes. And it's needed, thing,
Yeah,
so
well, definitely, and only more needed
you wanna
all the
entice-
time, fortunately or unfortunately.
qualified individuals.
Okay, any other discussion on the
not
motion?
directly with salary, but I guess when we go to, hire and the interview process for this position and the next one we'll talk about, I think we should have the full board doing the interviews and do all that stuff as a whole group.
Much like the sanitarian,
yeah, that's what we did with the sanitary, so.
I'd be good with that, yeah. Saves the middleman committee, I guess.
Carter,
Yes, Roger.
just a question, if, when you guys advertise for this position, will you also include the possibility of the 911 coordinator, or how will that work?
Probably have more discussions on that next week, we have to kind of figure that out. I mean, I know what Derek.
Because obviously that could attract
Yeah,
type of an
yeah,
applicant as well. so.
definitely.
I think this is separate, isn't it?
Well, it is separate, it's just,
It is separate
The
because it's a
average-
separate wage.
yeah,
Okay,
maybe that's something you bring up to the candidates when they come in for interviews too, is this is our current position is also doing these E911 duties.
Yeah.
What are your
yeah,
thoughts,
that's why I
experiences
asked,
of that? I don't know.
separate or if you had to.
Yeah, that's a good point though, yeah.
It's separate, but it'll be part of the discussion with candidates, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it'll depend what candidates we get too, and what their
I just don't want
abilities
to
and qualifications are.
Made the decision,
Right.
but.
Okay,
We also have to keep in mind too, that Derek did have a contract with the city as well for
oh,
How long
PD.
Yep.
that's
He
right.
did. What was that?
The IT department gets reimbursed for
Oh, yeah, I did,
labor
yeah,
for
that's right,
PD.
Yeah,
yeah, that
But
wouldn't
that's,
change
yeah,
anything.
that's.
that's part of it
IT,
still.
That's not
That's just
him.
follows the
That's
I'm
other
just
person.
saying, as far as hiring a new person, that needs to be made known.
Workload,
Yes.
workload and all that.
Yeah.
True.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So any other discussion on the salary range? Okay, if not, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, while we're talking salaries, discussion decision, set starting salary for HR CPC position.
Probably wanna change that to general assistance, CPC really doesn't.
I was reading the
exist.
agenda, okay.
Yeah, I know, it keeps on, it's just been, it won't
HRGA,
go away, but it probably needs to go
okay,
away.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Amber, you had the sheet in front of you,
Yeah.
where's she at right now? I was thinking about 84 or 5.
80,478.03.
80,478.
is that for all positions together, or is that?
It
Yeah.
has it together,
has it listed
yes, it
together.
has it
Okay.
listed together,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's current, right?
That was
Our
as of
current.
July 1st, 2025,
Yep, okay,
yes.
so, yeah,
I think we could do the same thing that we did, do a range and maybe start at 70,000 and then set the top end at what our budget is at for this year, for this coming year.
So roughly 82,892.37 is what it comes out to.
Any insight on what the market is out there for HR?
Again, if you look at ISAC, the average is 99,000, for general assistance, it's 80,000. It depends again what you're looking for. I think Dallas County has a position for a generalist advertised at 66,000, but there's 4 in the department, so. Probably, there's probably people that are able to share some of those workloads, so.
well, and I know not every county, a lot of counties don't even have a specific HR position or a full-time general assistance position, so that probably the averages are hard to
Right,
determine,
when they're combined.
when they're combined, cause you're getting the full-time positions probably from the bigger counties, and it's hard to,
And their cost of living and everything.
well, yeah, that's all
There's
different,
higher,
there's a lot of different factors that go into it. But. Again, yeah, you wanna get a good applicant, and we got 2 jobs combined, so,
I'd make a motion that we set the low end at 70,000 and then the high end at
Whatever the budget is.
whatever the budget is.
82,892.
okay,
Be specific, 82,892.
If you're considering the whole board, do you want those, applications to go to you, or where do you want them to go?
And I think they should go to you. It's kinda hard for them to come to us, cause we're 5 people,
I know,
and they
well,
come
that's why I
to
was
you,
asking.
and you gather them, I mean, that's what I think, cause they're gonna go to one location.
I would assume you'd still be involved in the interview
I
process.
just wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's good, that's good.
Yeah, I think they should go to you, Donna.
Yeah, you and I can communicate on that. Okay, so there's a motion by Wactor to set the salary range from 70,000 to 82,892.
I'll second it.
Second by Garmin. Any further discussion on that salary range for these two positions? If not, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Don.
that position,
Roger.
you know, I'm sure that's not something we have to really decide in here, it's just what we do, but all five of us will be interviewing for that too.
Yes, yeah,
Do that the same
we can do
way.
that, we
Yeah.
can do that. Yep, I think that'd be good. I think that's better than just having just me or just a committee or whatever. Yeah, since we're the actual hiring entity, you might as well know what you're getting.
Yes.
Let's see, discussion decision, renewal of annex lease with state public defender.
Hardly ever talking about it. It's so little.
Yeah, so we need a motion to that effect.
I know that.
$120 per year.
That's, yeah, what they all pay.
Big dollars.
Are there any options? I mean, will they pay more? Or is this a nominal?
It just doesn't provide.
More of a formality than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, Todd's always handled this lease with them.
Has it always been 120? I'm not suggesting it should go up or should go down, or take it as something that just checks a box for everybody, or? You signed it last time or something, right?
It's, I guess I'd say it's pretty immaterial, it's a spot for them to come if needed for anything,
Do we have a
What else
number?
would we use the space for is the question.
well, we've got open space over there anyway on top of this, so I think that's relatively immaterial, but, it's in everybody's best interest for them to have a space available, I guess I would say, so. I mean,
Make a motion
besides,
to approve if you want a motion.
So it says here a range of 3 to 5 years, are we?
that's what Todd's email was asking for, I don't know that anything has been proposed or suggested,
What's in our lease right now?
it was to
Without
the end of
reading
this.
2 years.
the thing, yeah.
2 year
It's
lease?
So it's a
July
2-year
first,
lease.
24 and
Oh,
to
yeah,
June
yeah.
30th, 2026.
Yeah, I mean. I don't care. We've got the space, we need to provide it, I don't care if it can be longer.
What would you like your motion to say?
Some of them over there are open-ended with not an ending date, so. It's whatever you think.
It was 3 to 5 asked for.
Yeah,
It was
He said-
mentioned in
Yeah,
there.
3 to 5. Well, maybe,
3 years?
maybe 3 is good, because then it covers any turnover here. And then other
Yeah.
people can make the decision if they want something different, so I'd make the motion to approve the lease at a 3 years.
Okay, motion at a 3-year lease,
I'll second.
second by Wactor. Any discussion on 3-year lease? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, discussion decision, approval of 3-year contract with Cost Advisory Services Incorporated for FY 25-26, 26-27, and 27-28.
Cost Advisory has been doing this for us for many years, and
Many,
they do
many,
a
many.
really good job, so.
Make a motion to approve.
There's a motion by Garmin to approve 3-year contract. Anybody wanna second that? Second by Haas. Discussion on the motion or the contract. Okay, Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up, we have discussion decision to approve and sign engagement letter with Northland Securities for Buffalo Township Urban Renewal Financing Options.
After I reached out to them, Heidi, had forwarded my email to Rebecca Greenway, who sent me this engagement letter that we need to sign, approve and sign before they can help us with anything.
Sure, yeah. Okay. That way you
I
want
guess
to-
I'm kind of the impression we decided last week or whatever, that we were gonna do it.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Stecker to approve, second by Garmin. And sign the engagement letter. Any further discussion on that matter? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Alright, you wanna call, yeah, you wanna call Doug up, we'll tell him we'll be ready in 10 minutes and we'll get to him. I'll give you 10 minutes, Amber.
Oh, thank you, you've just come up so far.
I know.
From 3 to 10.
Here,
I know, look at
this one's for cost allocation, this is for the engagement.
Okay.
All that.
I forgot my phone.
Morning, Doug, Howard, we're gonna take a break here but then we'll be up for the Overton stop sign, is that on the agenda? Yeah, yeah. Alright, okay.
Oops. I signed above sincerely, it's below sincerely. I'll just keep going, it'll just be an accident on that one.
Do we wanna see if we can get Roger or anyone else over here for the stop signs, or just Doug?
I don't know. Ken, if you feel it'd be helpful.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
How you doing?
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
We're
We'll widen the doorway.
walking through Fairway.
How you doing,
You're in a
Barry?
really bad spot, Barry, because if we crash, we're all falling
Yeah.
on you.
At least there's an EMT here. Yeah, hi Josh, how are you?
Yeah.
Good. Children getting out and playing and everything. Kinda nice that they can get out of the house right now.
Yeah, it is, it's, getting some of our sanity back.
It, yeah, I had to babysit Friday, my two grandsons, 3 and one, it'll be one, the 17th, I think, this week. So anyway.
So you were kept busy.
Yeah, so they taking their nap,
And then you're like, ooh, thank you.
then I get a rest.
About the time you catch your breath though, they're back up.
Oh, yeah, well, then they wake
And
up,
then they've got a whole new ball of energy going.
yeah, that's, you've been there.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's crazy how different mornings and afternoons can be after a nap.
Crazy how crabby they can get too.
Yeah.
The 1-year-old, he's got a pretty good disposition, he doesn't get crabby or anything, but he'll take he'll take a short nap in the morning, or no nap. If he takes a long nap, then he doesn't take a nap in the afternoon, and then at the end of the day, he's
Yeah.
got his issues.
That's a very summery shirt.
Anyway,
Sweet.
Optimism.
yeah,
Yes.
we kept him,
I like
we
it
kept him
very
awake,
much.
and about 11:30 got lunch in him, and he was ready to go to bed,
I don't know,
and slept for
cool, well, one time Friday was 89 and then it was down to 85, I don't know what it's gonna be now, but.
I'll take 85.
85, it's almost hot.
I
A
know.
little bit of rain.
Yeah, that's,
He said the other one was 89, so that's why I said I'll take 85.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for your brain, it's fuel for your brains, right? Right.
Full of souls in it.
Beans rolled.
unless I get more calls, I think I did my last field, including my own, last night, so. It's been a marathon.
Games on Sunday, there was beans being planted down there, I'm sure there's some around here too.
I saw a field getting planted on Mother's Day. I don't know how much is really left to go, I guess, but
And
I was kinda surprised that someone,
wasn't
one wasn't done planting by now with the conditions we've had, but two, that they were actually planting on.
We're planting down there on Sunday, I saw several planters within 10 miles of Ames, so.
Surprising, usually they're a good week or two
I
before.
think they were wetter, early on.
This spring they were? Okay. I didn't pay
Supposed to
that
get
much.
some rain this weekend, it looks like.
Yeah, some chances.
Half inches on Saturday and almost an inch on Sunday.
As long as it doesn't come in 5 minutes.
Can we
it'll
count
still
count on that, Josh?
Right.
I like your optimism.
As long as
Well, my
it
birthday's
doesn't
on
come-
Sunday,
Happy
so,
birthday.
thank you. So,
Yeah, happy
I wanted
birthday.
to go fishing on my birthday, so it's gonna rain.
So it's gonna rain
It's
on
gonna
your
rain.
birthday.
Your birthday's on Sunday?
Happy early birthday.
Yeah,
36?
Huh?
36? Which one?
What it is, I'll be 37 this year.
37. Okay, good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
We have next on our agenda to approve a lighted stop signs or other options on the Holborn Blacktop. And I know you were gonna look into some options last week and just would have anything to update the board on there.
Well, we are ordering signs, replacing all high-intensity reflectivity signs with diamond grade signs. We're ordering vertical strips to mount on the posts of the stop ahead, speed limit, stop signs, and we have ordered red flashing beacons for the top of the stop signs. So, I guess we're in the process of trying to warn motorists that there is a stop sign there, that they have to stop. I did include in your packet information from the Iowa Department of Transportation as of yesterday. You can see that we're in the state, we're up to 95 fatalities. Last week it was 90, so we encountered 5 more. People, I can't emphasize enough, drivers to be responsible. I don't know the causes of all these accidents. The investigation on this particular accident is still ongoing. And I will probably be contacting the investigating officer at the end of this week to find out if there's more to it, so.
So at one point, I was under the impression that the these are the solar ones again.
These
like,
are solar flashing beacons, yes.
7,500 was brought up, and then there was a discussion about whether that was for one or for a pair, or.
They're right around, I think, $2,500 a piece. I'm gonna put one on the southbound one.
Did you, when you were listing off what you were doing, did you say anything about the east-west traffic, do the flashing amber lights?
I was not at this time planning on that, I guess.
Thought we kind of talked about that last week.
Well, it's definitely an option. I mean, you can put up flashing lights on stop ahead, you can put flashing lights on the intersection coming above. We have signs, 36-inch signs. One is a high grade, or excuse me, a engineering grade reflectivity. One is a high diamond grade reflectivity. In this instance, the truck ran the stop sign, the southbound truck ran the stop sign. I don't know the eastbound vehicle. I don't know. There were witnesses there. They saw the truck go through there, the witnesses behind the car. So at this time, I don't know if that is warning people of an intersection. Yes, it's there, but how much good it will actually do, I don't know.
Well, hopefully we never know.
Hopefully,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Hopefully we
Right.
never know. I mean,
Right.
that's the goal.
Well, if everybody would stop at stop signs, that's what I'm trying to achieve here, is make people aware that there is, and I don't know whether that is going to actually reduce crashes or not.
East-westbound there, is there, any reason we wouldn't be able to do like a high cross traffic warning sign or anything like that, that kinda alerts motorists, traveling east and west, that there may be trucks moving across that road regularly to kind of give them a heads up to watch for that cross traffic too, so they're a little bit more aware of.
Well, that's what I was kinda hoping with those flashing yellow lights. I kinda thought last week
Well-
that was kind of the direction that we were kinda led. I thought,
Right. I mean, if, I'll take Highway 169 south of Algona as an example. Every time I see a vehicle, that there's sight distance on Highway 169 south of Algona on all the intersections. And when I see vehicles coming towards that intersection, if the timing appears that we could be coming to that intersection at the same time, and I see that they are not going to stop, which happens a lot, whether it's an agricultural implement, whether it is a passenger automobile, whether it is a semi-tractor and trailer. I don't have the, I don't know if that's gonna stop or not, but whether I'm on, when you have sight distance, you need to be a defensive driver. And that's whether you're talking about a gravel road intersection or whether you're talking about, on Highway 18 and another local paved road. So,
oh, go ahead.
I don't know, especially if people are driving through. Most people that are taking McGregor are knowledgeable of the road, going from Whittemore to Algona, most people. If they're not, they stay on Highway 18, cause they're gonna either get off of Highway 18 and go south, cause McGregor begins there on the west end. And I guess if the board desires, we can certainly order them.
Doug,
But I don't know how much reduction in crashes would occur with that.
If it reduces at least one, I think it would be worth it.
is this the first time safety concerns have been brought to you for this specific intersection?
I've had comments from other people. I have comments from a lot of people on a lot of different intersections.
I asked
In
about this
Kossuth
one
County.
specifically.
And if we're talking about trying to reduce one accident can happen anywhere. I mean, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, we had a motorcycle on P56, ran through an intersection going southbound on Highway 18. And again, I go out and review that, and I can see ahead of me that from a quarter of a mile, the traffic is traveling at 55 miles an hour through the intersection. And it's got a heck of a lot more vehicles than McGregor east of Algona has. Yet, for whatever reason, a motorcycle goes through that intersection, and he ended up being, it was a car, and a motorcycle hit the car, and the motorcycle heading west is fatal. If the car failed to yield. Again, signs, traffic control, the more we put out and the less people pay attention to it, the more they ignore it when it's needed.
I guess I'm gonna kind of stick to, I really wanted something on the burger. I think it would be an added protection. I know that the building doesn't totally block the stop sign, and it's not what I'm getting at, but it does block a little bit of the sight view for that defensive driving. So, a warning, I think would be, I still think it would be the best benefit of our travelers. That's the direction I thought we were gonna go, and I would like us to still go that direction. I would.
I think it's really disappointing that we are discussing the potential options to increase safety to this extent when we have 4 specific intersections that showed up on the Iowa Crash Analysis Tool from the DOT website, which was filtered for issues at intersections, and we have 4 locations. One of those 4 severely stands out amongst the rest for frequency and severity of accidents. And if somebody said we should put something at all 4 of those, I probably wouldn't disagree with them, but I think it's really disappointing that we are having to argue over safety measures for our residents that live here and visitors that come through this county. I think that's beyond ridiculous, and I've got a lot of words I'm gonna try to hold back from saying right now.
I am not arguing with anybody. And I am frustrated with fatalities in the state as much as anyone. I just gave you a crash report in.
Our jurisdiction doesn't cover 95 fatalities.
Okay, so that gets back to the argument that we're only gonna worry about this thing here. We have a problem, whether you're talking to an Iowa State Patrol, whether you're talking to the governor's traffic task force, there is a problem with driving. And a lot of these errors, a lot of these accidents are because of errors of the person that is operating. And if we're not going to worry about people in Kossuth County that are traveling to Polk County, if we're not gonna worry about anybody traveling through any place other than Kossuth County, are we doing ourselves any good?
We don't.
I go through.
Jurisdiction signs up in other jurisdictions, we can only do what's good for our jurisdiction.
The DOT handles the state, other counties have their territories. It's, I'm not disagreeing with you that it's a problem and that whatever can be done, but it's not something that we have the ability or authority to.
Okay, well then, I guess if the board would like to, I mean, I would not recommend the east-west direction. I think that that's signed well enough. If you wanna bring more attention to it, how about trying to put up another sign on the opposite side of the road so there are 2 signs with vertical strips? This accident happened in the middle of the day. We also need to remember at night. We have a light there that, in Kossuth County, we try to light paved intersections, at night. If you want some sort of traffic warning, you might wanna take a next step that way.
I think that'd be good too,
Yeah, I agree.
in addition to
Yeah.
the other things that have been
Okay,
discussed.
so then, if you are going to react on this, or if you wanna be proactive, how much of a budget are you going to put into the signs? Are you gonna support that as well?
For right now, I just wanna support what's on the agenda in that intersection, and then if there are others we've
Well,
got to
yeah.
support, I'm very willing, I myself am very
Okay.
willing to support that, I think.
Well, it was brought up that there are other intersections, and yes, we
Yeah.
are going to review other intersections,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that's being proactive, I like that. This we're, yeah, you're right, we're being reactive to something that just happened. but I think also trying to, at the same time, being proactive to hopefully prevent something in the future.
So is it the board's desire then to place warning beacons for east-west traffic? Would you like to have warning beacons on stop ahead signs for north and southbound traffic? I do not believe those would be warranted as well. I do not think that right now it is necessary.
I guess I'll be as specific as I can here. I think the things that have been discussed, one that you started with your list, I think the signs on the opposite side of the roads for north and southbound traffic, and the warning or amber lights on McGregor, I think all of those should be done. I think we should reevaluate it in 3 months and see what that entails. I wouldn't be opposed to putting a camera up to watch the southbound traffic coming from 18 heading south towards that intersection. I don't know if we wanna do that yet or not. I know the other camera system that we put up by the junkyard, Derek said was probably gonna be in that $7,000 range. So I guess I wouldn't be opposed to that either, if needed or desired, but I think the
Who
list,
will be, if the board chooses a camera, what budget will that be taking out of? Cause that's, I mean, another thing you could request, and I had not been able to visit with law enforcement, but law enforcement in that area, some patrolling may be necessary. There is a speed limit there, 45 miles per hour. I don't know if that is being followed. Obviously, for whatever reason, the stop sign, there's instances where the stop sign people are not following the law, the rules there. Is that being addressed, or, I mean, is that a valid concern?
So that gives me a question, so, you know how you see, and I don't know if Krista has one of those, or a couple of those, you see those signs that, when you're going at,
solar,
and it shows you
message
your
boards.
speed, your
Oh,
speed?
yeah, those
And
two.
does that, collect any data?
It
Or
does,
is
and
it just-
we are aware of it, and we're doing studies
Cause I.
on that,
Yeah,
but right
on
now,
McGregor going the
Yeah.
other way out of town.
Yeah, so
Right
it
now,
could be something
to
that's
be
there.
honest with you, I wanna collect the data without any kind of instance showing people that. I wanna see what's going on right now.
without warning them to slow down.
Correct. And then once we put that out there, we will see if there is an improvement.
I think there'd be value in the data from that, but I also think there'd be value in the action of addressing the behavior so that something else doesn't happen tomorrow. And I guess, never know when the next one's gonna happen there or anywhere else, so I don't think we have a crystal ball, but I'd rather not kick the can down the road on increasing safety measures for the sake of getting data. I think we have data that's alarming enough right now.
So,
For
go
the,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, for the stop sign itself, I know I've had a visit with a few people who truck in the area that have called me and said as they travel around the state and areas, a lot of solutions they see is the stop sign is raised up. I know we talked about that a little bit, and I'm sure they're all at a regulatory height. But I wasn't even thinking about this, but I was driving up to Buffalo Center the other day, and there's at this four-way stop there, east of Titanca. The stop sign on the south side of the intersection, when you're heading north, is considerably higher than the stop sign on the north side. Just an observation. I assume that was done intentionally for reasons, and I know that was these guys' point was, higher stop signs do help a lot for when you're trucking. And at certain intersections, certain ones it doesn't matter, just the lay of the land, but is that something to consider?
Well, first of all, I'm not aware of any intentional action for north or south bound traffic at that intersection.
Okay,
There was no intentional instructions given to our sign crew to install a stop sign at a different height. I'm confident when I say that. So the assumption is not correct.
okay, but I just noticed they were different.
That's fine, I'm not arguing that, but you did say you assumed that there was instruction given for one to be higher than the other. And that is not the case.
Okay.
I don't know what distance you need to be able to see that stop sign. I've not driven, I'll go out with a dump truck that would be the same height as a semi. That stop sign's visible. That stop sign is visible.
In Hobarton, you're talking?
Yes. The stop sign that the driver ignored for whatever reason is visible. The stop ahead sign is visible. The rumble strips that the driver that ran through the intersection, they're there. I'm sure that they're working. The speed limit sign to the north, the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, it's there. If the board desires that we begin placing a lot of traffic devices at intersections where there is has been some sort of a run the stop sign crash. There's a difference. There's also where people stop and pull right out in front of another person. They stop at a stop sign. We can certainly do that. However, it still comes down to if people know the stop sign is there and they do not run it and get into an intersection, accidents occur. Some of them are minor, some of them are fatal. The engineering side of the 3 E's or the 5 E's, when the signs are up and the warning signs, the engineering side is working. There's still enforcement, education, the emergency portion of it, and then everybody. There's 5 E's when you're out there with the traffic.
Oh, are we ready
And-
for a motion?
And this investigation is still going on. We don't know what is gonna show from that investigation. We have a report, but we do not have a completed investigation.
So, there is a intersection sign coming from the west, I don't know about from the east, I know there's one coming from the west, both directions. Yeah, I understand, and I don't wanna step in front of a moving train here and get run over, but I understand, I would even agree, my feeling would be that putting up all sort, people just get anesthetized to whatever's there, and might it help, it might not, I don't know. People, I agree also that most of the traffic on that road is local traffic, very little reason for highway traffic to take that route. I think everybody's aware of it. I also would slow down and wait, I said this last week, I'd slow down and wait for the report and see what's found. But there is a history, I assume we're not arguing the validity of the report that the ambulance service put together, is that accurate?
I've not reviewed all of that, I guess, I have no reason to.
Yeah, I said that too, I said that all week, you have no reason to doubt it, so I would slow down myself as far as how fast we did things, but, it's pretty obvious to me that I'm just standing in front of a train, so.
Okay, well, I would make a motion that we install flashing red lights for the north and southbound traffic.
Can you slow down, please?
I can, yep,
Okay, flashing,
flashing red lights for the north and southbound traffic.
okay,
Amber warning lights for the east and west traffic.
amber
Warning lights.
warning lights. For east and west bound traffic,
Yep.
okay,
And the warning signs on the opposite side of the road, what Doug was talking about before. In addition to the list of plans for signs that he's already had in place. And then I'd like this on the agenda to review in 2 months.
For the board's information, it does take time for the signs, the lights to be delivered. They've been ordered, we said 30 to 60 days is what they said for delivery. So, in 2 months, please do not, if there are not flashing lights there, it may be because they have not been delivered.
I'll second that motion.
can I read it just
Yes,
to
read
make
it
sure?
back.
I
Yep,
got
please,
motion by
please.
Stecker and second by Garmin to install flashing red lights for north and southbound traffic, amber warning lights for east and westbound traffic, and warning signs on opposite side of road in addition to the list Doug is working on, and add to the agenda to review in 2 months.
Add this topic to the agenda, yeah, however.
I would ask that it be a little bit more specific,
What part?
the intersections of the 2 roads.
Oh, sure.
I will add
Okay,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
that's, we can clarify that.
Clarify that in a minute.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be voting on
East,
something, you
west.
might as well make,
East-west is McGregor. North-south is Hobarton, but it's the, what's the?
90th Avenue,
East,
90th
P30.
210, 90 Avenue, 210 Street, 90 Avenue, B40, P30.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll put, north and southbound traffic on 90th Avenue, amber warning lights for east and westbound traffic on 210th Street. And warning signs on opposite sides of road on,
That'd be for the north and southbound.
on
traffic
90th,
On 90th.
okay, alright.
Just for clarification, the amber warning lights, are those gonna be attached to a specific sign with the message, or are they just?
Well, kinda like, you mean like, kinda like, okay, so I used the example last week, like, yeah, be
Yeah.
prepared to stop when flashing, or, but that was like the Clear Lake one, but of course, that's not gonna be ours.
Well, we're talking
But a sign.
east-west, the amber, flashing lights,
Yeah, I
what
was
sign
just-
are those gonna be?
But it would,
Those would be put on the
Heavy cross
intersection.
traffic.
On the intersection, yeah.
I,
They
okay,
want-
now, just so we're clear on this, now we're talking about heavy cross traffic and is that part of the motion as well?
No, that's what I was questioning, where those amber lights were gonna go, what?
They would be put on the intersection warning sign.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
the cross
Yep.
intersection warning sign.
yep.
one time you mentioned, you know, I don't know if you specifically said this, but cross traffic does not stop.
That will be put on stop signs, that, it will be added to the stop sign.
That'd be the north and southbound traffic.
Okay. Does everyone understand the motion as?
I have another yeah, I
Yeah.
understand the motion.
Yeah, but yeah, continue discussion.
So is there any, are you aware of anything? These are solar and there's a battery involved and I don't know what the reliability, longevity, if it's cloudy, is it hot, do they always work even in the worst month of the winter?
I'm not sure how it works, I know, I could certainly, my reference for this was Hancock County. They had an intersection, they put it up, I could ask.
I assume, you know what happened, I assume, of course, but I assume the DOT at the Iowa DOT at the corner of 169 and 18 took down the electrical power. Do you wanna put up the solar? I assume they are good. So to further that up, is there any liability if they aren't working? Let's just say, for example, if that red flashing light wasn't working from the north and this accident would have happened, or another accident happens, is there a liability to that?
I'm not an attorney, but I think that there is, that we would not be liable for reasons
Still have to sign, so.
Stop sign.
we,
Yeah, it's not like a stop gate, that if it doesn't work, you don't have traffic controlled, it's still a controlled intersection because of the stop sign.
When I visit, or I know down Wright County, they've had some up for a number of years now. And I talked to a guy down there and he made the comment to me that they've never had any issues with them, except for one got hit by a driver and then they had to replace it. That wasn't because
Yeah,
I know.
It wasn't
one
because
by
the battery
school
was
got hit
bad,
by
yeah,
something, so, yeah.
he said that's the only one they've ever had to do maintenance on or replace, so. I'm sure they've improved everything. Okay, further discussion on what was motion for? Okay, if not, then all in favor of approving the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yeah, I'll say.
Okay. That'll be, motion carries 4-1.
Can you also put those up on my corner? Not so detailed,
It's not on the agenda, but we can always talk about it.
well, I'm just gonna bring it up.
I will
to you.
I'll just go ahead and state that a citizen that is in this room right now, after that fatality, informed me that he witnessed a semi-tractor trailer run through a stop sign near his house. Local driver, but it happens. It's just another example of,
It happens quite a bit on our corner.
unfortunately it does, and I'm sure that,
Whether the
you go
lights.
to R, you go to R
too much,
14
yep,
and
same thing.
and you'll find the very same thing happening there, unfortunately. And I can't, again, stress enough that
I
people
called,
be responsible.
I called the last one and he even turned the corner to the east as a tanker, as a new co-op tanker, so I called the elevator. They called me back and said it wasn't their truck and tractor, but all their trucks and tractors have a camera in. And if they don't stop, it emails the company instantly. They get notified.
Sure. So was it a new co-op?
It's a tanker, it's an owner-operator tractor from Ventura or City area. But we have local delivery people come from the south and they shoot right through it.
Well,
And
if
it's a
we,
blind intersection from the south, I mean, as I say, I agree with Doug, you can put anything up you want, if you don't look at it,
Well, we can talk about other intersections and whatnot, but our agenda item topic today is just for the Overton Road. So, but thank you, Rod. Okay, next up we have discussion decision approve all of secondary road and transfer station hours of work and overtime policy.
Yeah, I have included a copy in your folder. This would be a policy for hours of work and overtime for secondary road and transfer station non-exempt employees. It begins by some definitions. First, the normal work week is 5 consecutive 8-hour working days within the work week, and then the road department has 4 10-hour day work week, which is 4 consecutive 10-hour days within a work week. The purpose is to ensure that consistent practices that comply with applicable federal, state, and local labor laws while supporting fair workload distribution and operational efficiency for secondary road and transfer station non-exempt employees. That's the purpose of the policy. The schedules, they can be on the second page. They are determined and established by the Kossuth County engineer and the engineer of the Kossuth County landfill and transfer station. Generally, they do not change from week to week. However, daily and weekly work schedules may be changed at the discretion of the county engineer and the engineer of the landfill and transfer station to meet varying conditions and workloads. The Kossuth County engineer and the engineer of the Kossuth County landfill and transfer station shall have the right in times of emergency to adjust the daily starting and quitting times with notice given before the shift that is affected. And nothing herein shall be construed as a guarantee of the number of hours of work per day or per week or the number of days of work per week. Changes in the work schedule will be announced as far in advance as possible. Employees are not to be tardy and are expected to be ready to perform their job duties at the start of their scheduled work time. Secondary road and transfer station employees are expected to adhere to their assigned schedules, accurately recording their time worked and obtain prior approval for any overtime. And the organization is committed to compensating eligible employees for overtime in accordance with the legal requirements and internal guidelines. Overtime work may be necessary to maintain Kossuth County secondary road and transfer station operations. Kossuth County will attempt to give employees advance notice when overtime work is necessary. However, it will not always be possible to notify workers in advance. Overtime is considered a condition of employment, and refusal to accept it when notice has been given may result in disciplinary action. At the Kossuth County engineer and the engineer of Kossuth County landfill and transfer station or the designee's discretion, employees' work schedules may be adjusted during the work week to avoid overtime. Any work performed outside the designated regular workday or 10-hour workday must have prior approval of the county engineer or the engineer of the Kossuth County landfill and transfer station or their designee. Each employee performing work at a time other than during the regular workday or 10-hour workday must notify their foreman at the time they complete the overtime work. Failure to obtain approval may result in discipline. And then the overtime, it will be paid for hours in excess of 8 hours per day while working a normal work week. It'll be paid for hours worked in excess of 10-hour days per day while working the 4 10-hour day work week. It'll be paid for hours worked on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. And it'll be paid for on hours of work on Fridays while working during the 4 10-hour day work week. Vacation, sick leave, personal days, and other paid leaves of absence shall not count as time worked in determining eligibility for overtime pay, and nothing herein shall be construed as a limitation on the employer's right to required overtime work. Callback, an employee who is called back to work after leaving work for the day will be paid a minimum of 1 1/2 hours at the appropriate rate of pay. Callback does not apply to any hours worked immediately preceding or following the employee's normal work scheduled hours. Pretty much the very same practice as what has been going on at the transfer station and at the secondary road department for many years.
Doug, I got a quick question on, so for overtime, section C there, the overtime, hours worked on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, does that include the Martin Luther King holiday, that we are approving for, giving them a floating holiday, because the chances they may work on that holiday, now if they do work on that holiday and have to move snow and stuff, are they getting paid overtime because it's a holiday?
No, they get to take 8 hours
They get that.
of holiday that they would not be working. And then the actual holiday, that date would be for, just normal 8
Normal
hours.
work.
Any other questions?
I'll make a comment, I did receive one phone call that, expressed concerns about overtime in excess of, 8 or 10 hours depending on the day, they just thought it should be after a 40-hour week or whatever, and they also mentioned the floating holiday. Why not just take the holiday when it is versus the floating holiday? That's just passing along what one resident called me about, that's all I'm doing.
Well, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, in a situation like that, say it is not a floating holiday and it's a holiday and they have to work, do they get holiday pay in a time and a half? For
Yes.
working it? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
the
so
whole,
it's actually a cost savings to the county if they take a floating holiday, or possibly.
Correct.
Yeah, so,
if there's no reason to remove snow, they would not be working, and yes, they would be having a holiday there and they would have 8 hours paid.
yeah,
If they're called in to work because of the emergency situation, it would be, it would be overtime.
Yeah.
I guess the one comment I'd make is there was a lot of pieces of the union agreement that we kind of discussed as a list. I would rather go through that entire list as a package rather than individual pieces of it, because I think there's some things that we can and should agree to and other things that maybe should be compromised on. So I guess I'd rather deal with everything as a package rather than just overtime on its own.
I kinda like doing it one piece at a time, cause I feel like it gives me a little bit more clarity on it, and then, you know, we're addressing this and have it right in front of us, and I don't know, to me, I think it's a little easier doing it like this, but.
Less to digest at one time.
Yeah, for me, it's easier, I can say, but I can only speak for myself.
Well, and I know there is a reason why this one has come up sooner than the other portions, because I know that they're wanting to potentially move to 4-day work weeks, and if they wanna do that, then this policy needs to be, done before then, so.
So the union agreement would cover them to the end of this fiscal year, right?
June 30.
Yeah, so they'd still have another month and a half of union agreement coverage regardless of what we vote on.
But we always act on the 10-hour work week anyway, don't we?
Yeah.
No.
We
We'll
don't
give
a verbal,
Yeah, it did mean work week, work day.
verbal affirmation. of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we always
When they
talk about
started.
that at this time, regardless of union or.
Yeah,
Well, yes, compensatory time and vacation need to be talked about next. So, usually at this time, we know, we have given the secondary road employees and the transfer station employees, a sheet, giving them the opportunity to elect to take compensatory time. I was planning to visit with the board about your desires with compensatory time. The handbook has a paragraph two. 2.2D, non-exempt employees may accrue compensatory time at the rate of 1 1/2 hours for each hour of overtime. The maximum number of hours that an employee may accrue is 60 hours. 2 sentences. With an asterisk, conservation accrual different. The way that it has been administered with the road department, overtime is, we just went over. Then it talks about comp time may accumulate. Employees who have chosen to be paid in the form of comp time will receive comp time at the rate of 1 1/2 hours. Comp time for each hour of overtime worked. Comp time may only accumulate to 42 hours once per fiscal year. And then there's an example that goes over the use of that. So, the board's desire on overtime, if the board would like to keep the handbook language, there is no need for a policy. If they want it, if the board desires to have it separate, we need to know, I guess, and I certainly, I'm willing to try to get that in writing as a policy by next Tuesday.
Look at this one this week and the second one next week, right?
So I was, yes, trying to take this in steps.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that too, I feel like I retain.
So, since we're visiting about it, which way would the board like the employees to
You wanna shut that there?
follow?
I think that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
right. Follow the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't know if I'm prepared to say what way I want it,
As
as far as all the handbook are the same.
For which topic?
Like what I just asked us about, comp time, comp time and, yeah, right, comp time and vacation time is the next thing you said we had to address.
Correct.
Yes,
Well, we can discuss that next week, cause we don't even have that on the agenda to talk about this week. I mean, in detail anyway, but.
I was going to just use it for discussion with the engineer, I guess, cause I need, our office needs to know so we can begin either giving secondary road department the election and so that we can do our work required for next fiscal year.
well, should we get through this motion first and get through our other stuff
We'll-
and then get to discussion?
We'll come back to
So
that,
then
yeah,
we're
yeah,
staying on track.
we'll come back to that at engineer discussion.
Very good.
Yep, let's finish the, hours of work and overtime.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve that.
Okay, motion by Garmin to approve the secondary road and transfer station hours of work and overtime policy as presented. Anyone want to second that motion?
So the floating holidays language is not in this policy, it's somewhere else?
It is not,
We acted on that separately.
we will, I think we discussed in having that as part of the resolution for holidays for all county employees, having a paragraph in that resolution that's acted on in January, first meeting in January.
We did.
Well, motion's made, does anybody wanna second it, and then we can discuss things further?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, motion, or a second by Haas. Discussion?
What's in here has been going on as long as you've had this, as long as they had the union previously, so that was how many years or whatever?
I got here in 1986 and it was, I believe it was part of it, yes.
All this language
Yes, that's how the road department.
is operating.
In 1986, they may not have had the 10-hour day workday, that might have came in after 86, but it's been, the secondary road department bargaining unit has been in existence since before 1990.
Okay.
My question is, the work week begins. I know there was a lot of discussion with that when we were talking about going to the bi-weekly payroll. Is all of that been ironed out as far as, because I think people had different work weeks?
The only one that's different is EMS.
Okay,
Everybody else.
That's offset by one day, right?
Yeah, and it's actually, the day is the same, it's the hours because,
Time of day.
because time of day, midnight versus 7 AM, that's
Okay.
the only difference.
okay, that's, yeah,
Cause that's when the shifts end.
Yeah.
that follows with everything else, yeah.
This does say the work week begins at 12 AM on Monday and ends at 12 PM on Sunday.
Okay, thanks.
I do not wanna split hairs and correct anybody, but I would say that's probably wrong to end it at 12 PM on Sunday. I'd say it begins at 12 AM on Monday and ends at 12 AM on Monday. It
But it
begins and
should
ends at
say,
the same
it
time.
should say 11:59.
Yeah, something like that, but
12 PM right there.
that's not the point.
12 PM actually reads noon.
I know, that's my point. That's my point.
You're probably right.
It is more.
That probably should be changed, yeah.
To 11:59.
Where's that?
11:59 PM.
Yeah.
I will change that.
Saturday, 10 o'clock, something like that. Okay, any other thoughts on the language in the policy? Or the motion at hand?
You are gonna change that to 11:59.
Yeah, but there will be a minute that is not contained in the. I'm sure. I think
If you're working at 11:59 PM on a Sunday night,
we, yeah.
there's a little bit more to be concerned about than that one.
Correct, no. Maybe, I know there's parking, there's case law on parking, because parking signs, no parking midnight, Saturday to midnight, whatever, and so anyway, I think 11:59 gets the idea. If, maybe I better ask the auditor if that's okay to use that as a definition.
You allow it?
Yeah, you can look at what we use. I can't remember right off the top of our head, but I think that's fine.
I will check that.
Okay, 11:59 it is.
Good point.
Any further discussion on that topic in the motion today? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the written policy with that time change, addition, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention from the motion. Motion passes. Okay. We then have.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We then have construction in the right of way. I believe there was one in the packet.
Yes, there is a request for construction in the road right away. Algonah Municipal Utilities is removing some overhead power line and replacing it with underground. This would be right north of the River Road Golf Course. The River Road turns into gravel. As you're going north, it turns to northeasterly. And I know the road over the years has gotten closer to a overhead power line. And they wanna get that all resolved so that overhead lines would be placed underground. I would recommend that the board would approve of this request.
Okay, motion by Garmin, second by Wactor to approve work in the right of way. Any discussion on the AMU permit? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. There's something to sign.
No.
Okay.
Need a signature here, Carter.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is discussion decision, the Kossuth County Engineer contract. We did receive an opinion back from Todd Holmes. Has everyone had a chance to look at that?
It came this
And
morning.
I just came this morning, I
Oh,
noticed
okay.
as I was sitting here in the
Yeah,
boardroom, so
I was like, I didn't.
no time like the present. So why don't you just take a minute and review that? It's in an email. I assume it came to everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it did.
It did.
Okay,
I'm gonna take a quick break, I've already seen that, but I'll be right back.
Okay, that's a good time for me too.
okay.
Okay. And
Did you find it, Howard? Yeah. Okay. And I've read through it, but whenever,
I'm still reading.
no, whenever everyone's finished reading through it, just let me know. Doug, would you like me to forward you the opinion as well? I don't think
I
you're,
would
I don't think,
appreciate that.
yeah, I don't think you're
Thank you.
included in the email.
No, no, you're right.
I will forward that to you right now.
I didn't realize that right here.
I'm done too.
Good, okay. Josh, you finished? Okay. So I think that you can sum it up in his conclusions there, and that the current contract is as it is without any desired amendments by the board. And that's recognized in the legal opinion there. And so, any amendments the board had desired prior to today, or prior to the upcoming contract, are not in effect because they were not agreed upon by both parties. And then also, that being we were within the 90 days notice.
Outside of the 90 days.
When we were outside of the 90 days notice, we gave sufficient notice as far as the contract automatically renewing. Then the last sentence says, absent execution of a new agreement, the current contract will likely expire June 30th, 2026. So that's what I got out of as far as the summary of the legal opinion. I guess as far as moving forward, now I know it was mentioned that it's not necessary to have an agreement, it's an optional thing. That does not mean that Doug is no longer employed, cause they are two different circumstances there in a sense. Not every engineer has an agreement with the board, but historically we have. And I still think it'd be a good thing to have. Is my personal opinion, but, as far as moving forward with something and giving direction, that's really what we need to do and put it to rest today, hopefully. So I know in public discussion this morning, it was brought up, what is our plan B if we are replacing our engineer, that I guess if, my feeling is if we were aiming to replace the engineer, we just wouldn't have a contract discussion. That's my feeling. And so that's why I told him that I don't have a plan B, that's why I entered this conversation, so,
So would there be any issue with moving forward with the contract as is?
as we've discussed it for the upcoming July 1st.
Well, we haven't really discussed any, because any changes before this were not, so can we just leave his contract the same and, because that's what he's had, and then in the future, if we,
Well, he did provide us with a proposal for adjusting that, and if we accepted that, then that would be both parties agreeing to a change.
That's correct, yeah, yep. And that's what we voted on, was for the upcoming contract recently.
but it didn't.
But it doesn't,
didn't
it's
pass.
not,
That didn't.
yeah,
That didn't
you
pass.
can't
Right.
use that.
What I'm saying is Doug offered up for the contract, some word changes, that he sent us a letter proposing this change. We didn't approve that, but if we had approved it, then it would have been both parties making an agreement to that change could have been effective then, because both parties would have agreed to it at that point.
There has to be something that both parties agree to
Yep.
move forward with an
Yes.
agreement, I mean, that is the point of the agreement.
Yeah.
And so, either we agree on an agreement, or we just don't have an agreement, and we just simply have
Mhm.
an employer-employee situation. That's all, and so if we wanna revisit the, proposal back from Doug, I'm open to that, we can certainly talk about that, or anything else that the board has thought about in the contract that you feel would be a different or better alternative or compromise or whatever.
I mean, I guess for me, I prefer to just not change the contract. It's a contract we've had in place for many years, and then Doug's been here a long time, and when he decides to not be here anymore, I think, yeah, then, we should really look into maybe possibly making some changes to that, but I guess I question why we change it after it's been in place for so long this way when we haven't really had any problems. So that's my main question of it, why we even are discussing it, but.
Well, I said it last week and now I'll say it again, but attempt to avoid reiterating any other points I've said, but I think the structure of this is important, and I would stand behind the action that was taken previously to change it, and my intention was that would change it for the future contract, so I guess whether we need another motion or whatnot, I guess my intention would be changing it to majority.
But that already wasn't agreed upon, so that's where we're.
For the current.
For the current contract.
For the current contract, so we were only talking about the current contract before, which seems silly, right?
No, we weren't.
We
Oh,
weren't.
okay,
We
but
weren't.
that's
There
just
was-
what you just said, though.
No, there was a misunderstanding, I think, is we were in an effort trying to amend for the future contract, but there was miscommunication or misunderstanding that we were talking about the current contract. The intention was for the contract, the next contract that would start effective July 1st, 2026.
Right.
But as it wasn't spelled out entirely, then there was some confusion and misunderstanding there, which is understandable.
Well, I think to make it less confusing, you know, I know that procedurally, you know, that's within our right, but it's not the cleanest. Why not just discuss the contract and come to an agreement through negotiations? And then approve the contract after those negotiations are finalized, not take little bits and pieces out of the contract and make motions for that. It's have the negotiations are in writing here, Doug, here's what we're proposing, Doug proposes back to us, and then once we come to an agreement, then we approve the contract without a bunch of motions in between. To me, that's the cleanest way of doing it. Because our motions really,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that, and if Doug would be agreeable to that too, that, I mean, that would be a good way to move forward to get the new contract, you know, going. Is if we, have some open discussion and discuss, you know, potential amendments and things like that, if we can agree at that point, then we can pull, you know, sign a written agreement on changing that contract going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, writing up, you know, this is what we propose, making a motion on it, passing, then handing to Doug and then having Doug, you know, review it and then make a counter proposal, that just takes up a bunch of time. We don't have a whole lot of time before July 1st, so.
and I don't think we need to spend just a ton of time on this. I mean, we've had an employee for 40 years. I mean, I'd rather see us make changes if we do have somebody new in place, because that's the time we just.
Well, can we make this a little more cut and dry and okay, Doug, the intention of the board was that the board voted with motions and things, and forget the motions at the moment, but the intention of the board was that we were proposing back to you, know, we wanna stay with majority and the 6 months. Would you agree to a contract with that language in it? Or would you agree to a contract? Is that something you need more time to think about?
On April 24th, I sent a letter to the Board of Supervisors. And I have not received a reply from the Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
And I do feel like we haven't responded because we were waiting for this from Todd.
I agree, that's where we left off.
Because we were wanting to make sure that moving forward, we didn't do anything else until he gave us his legal opinion.
Yeah.
So, I would agree then but let me clarify this. Your letter, was that for the current contract or for the future contract? That's where I'm getting.
I'm sure that was for the future as well, wasn't it? But
That was
Doug can
for-
answer that.
I think that we need to start over.
Yeah.
Because I think there's been confusion, current contract, future contract, okay? We're not talking about the current contract anymore. Current contract is set to be done June 30th. Let's move on, let's go for,
That was history in my mind.
that's history. We're moving forward to talking about negotiations for his upcoming contract. So,
Yes.
I don't think we need to make motions. How do we proceed with those discussions?
Well, I guess we can do it one of two ways, in my mind. Either we just have a discussion right now, or in another agenda item, in the coming week to just have discussion back and forth. Here's what we're thinking, like I just asked Doug, if the board is wanting to go this way, is that something you agree to? If not, then we go and figure something out in a discussion. Either that way, or I provide Doug another written letter of the board's intention to reply to his response to us originally, and then we come back and handle it that way. That's the two ways I see forward, but.
I feel like we almost need to just forget, this is my opinion, forget the letters, because it was the intent of this contract now. Is it still, so my question to the board would be, is it still the board's intention to do majority, or could the board just
Compromise.
say 4/5 to start with? Or, I mean, I made the motion last week for the 4/5, you know, it did not pass, but it's like you say, it's null and void, but what is the board's intention? Is it still the majority, or can we have some sort of compromise so that both parties are meeting somewhere in the middle?
And to your point, again, it's an agreement, we have to come to some sort of an agreement.
Exactly, so that's what I'm saying, what,
Well, let me ask this, Doug, would you be open to just having conversations and, you know, having a mutual agreement and then having a formal written letter that we can, you know, both as the board and you as the engineer can sign to agree to an amendment? Or would you like us to present you with a letter with a proposal and have you respond to it? What would be,
I can discuss this now. As I just stated, I sent a letter April 24th, and I said I would be agreeable to amending paragraph 10A of my employment contract to allow for my termination without cause upon a 4/5 vote of the board instead of unanimous, if we also extend the severance period from 6 to 9 months. And I haven't heard the board, I've heard the board discuss things, I haven't heard the board come back with a decision on that.
and that is because we were waiting for the
The attorney.
legal opinion.
So, I mean,
Tom.
but I've heard the board say that we're just gonna make it a majority vote. And I believe they're talking specifically, you know, again, I was talking about the language in 10A. What is the board's desire? By changing 10A from unanimous to majority, I do not feel comfortable. Because the first meeting in July 7th, termination of the county engineer, 3 votes, and I'm done. That's all it takes. I don't have any job security at all.
Okay.
So if the board desires to have a different person employed as Kossuth County engineer, that's fine, you can tell me right now, okay? Or you can agree with me, come to some sort of agreement that I am comfortable that the board wants me as a county engineer. I'm an employee of the Board of Supervisors. So, that's my feeling. And with a majority vote on that, there's risk in my employment.
And I can see that from your perspective too.
I can too,
But,
that's a fair assessment.
So, if you're not comfortable with that language, then we've gotta come back with something, and so Doug is still, again, waiting to hear back from his counter proposal, if you will, letter to the board, on the 4/5 and extending the severance pay from 6 to 9 months. How would you like to respond, as a board, or really is what we need to decide?
I feel like I've said this before, and I will attempt to say it with a little more clarity maybe this time. I have no intention of putting it on the agenda July 7th of 2026 to terminate the county engineer. I think changing the structure in the contract is important. Everything else, almost every single other decision that's made in this boardroom is a majority vote. Whether that's employee related, whether that's financially related, does not matter. There is nothing else that requires a unanimous vote, to my knowledge. And I think the only other thing that would, in reality, require a 4/5 vote is to go into closed session. I think the structure is important, and I think that would address my concerns. Without saying too much in open session, I think the structure is important.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the contract says that, it has to be agreed upon between the board and Doug, correct?
For
That is-
amendments.
That is what we're doing, yes.
So he's already given you a proposal. If you change that proposal and he doesn't accept it, you're back to what you started with, correct? So wouldn't it just be easier to accept the proposal he has now, cause you know that he's gonna accept it? Right?
I don't think easy was the question.
It would be, well, no, but it would be an act of compromise. And I think that's why when we have something that needs to be
You already
mutually
agreed with what
agreed
you're saying.
upon,
Yes.
and when something needs to be mutually agreed upon, that's kind of what we do. Sometimes you gotta meet in the middle. You might not want to, but sometimes you gotta meet in the middle. And if the end point eventually is to change that contract, maybe when there's a new person, and that's the contract language we want, which is majority, you know, I can probably get behind that, but not for a current employee that's had this for so many years. But I could get behind that compromise. I could get behind that.
I can understand the art of compromise, but when you look at every other decision that's made in this boardroom, including the budget, including setting taxes, including setting policies for anything under the sun, it takes a majority vote. That's what we act on.
And I agree with that statement. I just, because of this contract, that's why we're talking about something different. You know, we're not talking about something different for every vote that we do. We're just specifically talking about this contract. And this contract gives us the ability to do something different. And that's the only reason why we're talking about it, really. But we wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't contract language. So that gives us the ability to change that for this one thing. And I really can't, if the intent is not to not appoint him that first meeting in July, then what would be the big deal to compromise? Well, if that's not the intent, that compromise should be just fine, and this conversation can be done.
And I have received calls from the public about it, and had good conversation. Had conversation with the public for years about it, and I think a 4/5 vote is a step in the right direction, I think it's something that, I haven't talked to anybody that says, well, that didn't accomplish some sort of goal there. And so I know where yes, I would prefer majority. I would, but if that's where the board's at, that you wanna accept the compromise letter back, cause we have to come to some sort of an agreement, I'll support it. But that's for the 4/5 vote. Now the severance pay, from 6 to 9 months, whether that's something the board wants to compromise on or not, we can discuss that too, but.
I guess I'd almost rather want to leave that at the 6 months in my first.
Personally, yeah, I mean, if an employee really did something wrong and we're gonna vote for
Yeah.
4/5, then I don't really think severance pay should be increased, that's my personal feelings. If the board thinks different, I'll go along with it, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree, this increasing from 6 to 9, I wouldn't agree with that, but I'd be willing to compromise and do the 4/5 vote.
I think we're talking about this a lot, but at the end of the day, even if it was a majority vote, you have two sections side by side, that one is with cause and one is without cause. If there is cause and there's specific reasons for termination, no severance pay is required, that's a discretionary topic, in that section. So, and that only requires a majority vote of the board. So, it may be a different threshold from a legal perspective, but it's only a majority vote and severance pay is not required in there, so. I guess I've given my thoughts many times on this topic. But I think it's important to remember that there are 2 paragraphs there on the topic. We're only looking at discussing changes to one of them.
yes, I understand that.
Yep.
I understand that, I'd like to see it remain at 6. But I'd also like to keep 4/5. Or change it to, I shouldn't say change it to 4/5.
So you're saying offer a counter offer of 4/5, but keeping the severance pay at 6 months. So I think the 3 of us agree. Howard, what do you think?
I voted for 4/5 and last weekend, 6 months, and that may not be relevant. I think we're dancing around a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. I can't fault Doug for I don't know, whatever we do, he's gonna come back and say, well, you didn't send it to me in a letter. We can't even agree that we're just having a discussion and then we're gonna settle it today. Can we agree to that first?
Oh, yeah, we're having a
Yeah.
discussion, but I would like to say that Howard is exactly right. I think last week it was acted on 4/5, there was a motion to change the vote from unanimous to 4/5. I think there was a motion. I haven't seen last week's minutes, but it did not pass. There were 3 people that were against it. And that is one of the problems that I have, is that, yes, there are words that come out of this board's communication, however, the next week, it's not the same language. And I hope you can understand me as an employee seeing that. Am I wrong? Tammy, maybe the minutes from last week, I haven't seen them, but I think Howard is exactly right. There was discussion last week about 4/5.
Mhm.
Now that discussion there was a decision made there. And it's difficult to know how this board is thinking.
Because we have to come to some sort of an agreement, Doug, and yes, that is.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, I
I
hope that
agree.
you can look, I hope that you can look at this board through my eyes, through this seat. Because right now, I'm hearing a different conversation than what I heard last week.
Because we have to come to some sort of an agreement.
And you didn't have to do that last week?
We still have to come to some sort of an agreement.
Okay.
We do, and to say, you know, yes, we're having discussions, but the letters are important for the paper trail. They tell the story. The board said this, Doug said this, the board said this, Doug said this, okay, here we have an agreement. It's important to have that. As good employers, we should, you know, want to offer that letter, which we have done, and we should continue to do, and that's the process, and really, that's probably the best process of coming to that agreement. We both put our thoughts in writings, and he puts it back, and then we put it on the agenda, and we actually can approve the contract, you know, at that time, after that process is done. So yes, we're having this discussion, but we have to have it in order to put that in writing to them. Make sense?
Not sure I understood that correctly, but I would like to think that we could come to a mutual agreement here right now. Everybody agrees that yes, that's what we wanna do it and vote on it next week and be done. And then quit trading legalese back and forth when we all admit we're not lawyers, so.
I would say that that would be just fine with me. I would like it to be done, but also Doug had responded to us, and that's what he had asked us for. He said he had not received a response, so were we talking about that response? We were going to give him.
Well, do you want me to draft a letter from the board saying we need to come to an agreement that we'll propose back a 4/5 majority vote, along with maintaining 6 months severance pay as a response to the letter. This will be discussed and decided on at next week's meeting.
Unless Doug tells us right here and now, he would agree with us.
If the board is agreeable to that, I still believe, since the threshold of unanimous has been reduced, that the severance pay should be increased.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say I believe in the compromise of everything. There's a compromise there. If the board can agree to, and I realize it was voted down last week, if the board can agree with 4/5 and 6 months, I think that's a reasonable compromise, and I think you should agree to it also. That'd be my opinion. And whether or not the board has agreed to that, I'm not certain, but,
Sounds like 4 of us for sure are in agreement with that.
And if we can come to that agreement today, I'm happy with that.
Then we move on.
Then we can move on. I hope that we can. I hope that we can, and I do honestly see it from Doug's eyes. I do. I can understand where he can feel like that is, I don't know, the word attack comes to mind, but I don't think that's what we're doing, but I can see where he would feel like his job was in jeopardy, and I certainly, I mean, I hope that has never been our intent. Carter, you've said that's not your intent. I can see it from his eyes.
For me, the focus has been more on the contract than the engineer. That's what's, for me, it's more about the contract than the engineer. I don't have any intention of wanting to vote, no to continue with Doug as our engineer. That is not my intention either. My focus has been on the contract and just making it more uniform with the other decisions that we make as a board.
Well, I'll say yes, it warranted by conversations and the bringing it up because of the engineer. I'm not going to shy about that. But this is my focus is on the contract as a means of accountability. That's I mean, that's my clear answer to that. Okay, well, I would have to agree with Howard there, Doug. I would suggest that's where the board's at. I would suggest you take it as well and we move on.
Will the board include in the last sentence, adding the word after salary, adding 2 words and benefits?
Oh, for the severance pay?
And benefits including the health insurance and everything paid for the 6 months, that's what you're requesting?
That is the question I'm asking.
I think a $60,000 plus check already is pretty sufficient.
Well, and as a point of, you know, when you set a budget, you set that budget with, you know, that in mind of already having that paid for, and the, you know,
Yeah,
the
but you're
salary
gonna
is part
replace
of
them
it,
with another
that's-
person to fill that role typically.
Would the board be, if that's kind of what he's sending back to us, would the board be open to the 6-month salary and a 3-month benefit? Or 2-month benefit? Typically, it's gonna be a month anyway, because depending on when it terminates, it extends another month. So it'd be giving him an additional month if you did, if you did.
I'm not in favor of it, but that's.
Okay.
But if at least 3 of you are, I guess that's fine, but, if that's your desire.
I don't think 6 months of benefits is what I would ever say, but, if the benefit part is gonna be a hang-up, I would reduce it, but I just threw out 3, it wouldn't have to be that. It's just.
Two sounds better, but,
That would be an additional month to what already would be. I don't know how you could word that, if you could say an additional month past the original end date would be, you know what I mean? Do you know? I know it, I know it, you kind
expiration,
of,
yeah.
yeah, like a month past.
How many other employees are we gonna give that benefit to?
Well, I know, I
Employees that we
understand.
have contracts with.
Exactly, that's, the only reason why we're having a discussion is because we do have this. So I just wanna get it to where I mean, we've discussed it quite heavily, let's try and get to a point where we can just say, okay, we're done with this topic. That's all I really want, and to be fair.
I feel in the effort to come to an agreement, I'm compromising quite a bit on going to 4/5 and the 6-month severance pay, that's where I feel we should, it's my personal feelings, I feel we should just land there, but But if the rest of the board has a different thought,
Yeah,
I have
that's
no
fine.
problem with any of you, it is.
Yeah, that's, yep.
Howard, you're thinking pretty hard.
I'm not thinking at all. I'm not thinking at all.
So
That's the way
are
to
you
describe
in
it.
for 6 months out?
I'm at 4/5 in 6 months, yes.
Okay.
That's a decent compromise.
I will take some time to think about that.
Okay.
Will the board also entertain paragraph 7? The engineer shall be entitled to the same fringe benefits as it says Secondary Road Employees Association. I would strike association from that, and it would be secondary road employees.
What would
Yeah.
the association be?
There's no
That is
union
the
agreement.
collective
Oh,
bargaining
yeah.
unit.
Yeah, that's fine, we
That's
could
fine.
strike that as well. Well, would you like, if you'd like time to think about it, would you
Yes,
like to revisit that and give us an answer in the next week? Or how much time were you thinking?
Is there gonna be a motion to document the offer that will be presented to Doug, and will that be conveyed in writing as he's requested previously?
I'm not requesting this to be in writing.
Okay.
I think I would expect that there would be 4 votes for an agreement that was written with 4/5, changing unanimous to 4/5 vote and taking out the word association. I will hold the board to their word on that. I would expect there's gonna be 1 vote against it.
I can put that in the minutes without a motion too.
Without a motion, just put it, what was discussed.
Could be
I think it's good to have some kind of, something in writing.
Yes.
We all say we're gonna remember what we said,
Yeah,
but
remember.
we're not going to.
Okay.
Alright,
Okay, anything else for discussion today, Doug?
Uh, 100, what used to be 190 Avenue between, I think it's 290 Street and 300 Street. That road was vacated last fall. It's between sections 25 of Portland Township and section 30 of Buffalo. We are we've restored that to flat surface that can be farmed. We should be putting the final grading on that. We do have to do a little bit of surface work and tile repair before it's all ready to go for people to be farming. Next week, we're gonna be moving to the 4 10-hour days starting Monday. We're preparing for the 2-week pay periods. We're also beginning implementation of an electronic time clock software that has been created by the Iowa County Engineers Service Bureau. We are working with our foreman right now. Our office has been using it. When we do push this out to all employees, we're planning on purchasing some sort of a electronic device for the employees to use. With the electronic device, there's other applications that we plan to develop so that we can utilize that more, but there will be an expense with that. We talked a little bit about dust control. I believe all the locations that have been sent to us last week that we received is ready for dust control, and I don't know, Dino's dust control, they will be applying that now. Did receive a notification from the Iowa County Engineers Grant Coordinator. They are starting to take structures, applications for structures. Kossuth County did have some structures that I had programmed using local funds for replacement. I plan to put some structures into this possible grant, so hopefully we will get some money to replace those. taking quotes for gravel crushing. They're to be in our office, May 13. No, that's not right. May 11th, and we'll review those with the board on May 12th. May 18th, review with the board next week, May 19th. Sorry about that. And Reddings, they did not get a chance to crush at Rockler's gravel pit last year. They are finishing, they're going to work, and they're starting to get ready to crush down there right now. The roof repair on the engineer's garage was completed. After the shingles were tore off, there were, I think it was 9 sheets of plywood that needed to be replaced. So it's gonna be a little bit, the cost of that is a little bit larger than what they had quoted. But that stuff happens when you take things off. We still have the sign shop and the Seneca shop to get completed. Next week, I would hope that we could talk a little bit about compensatory time of vacation. For vacation, I'd like to just include another column in the table that's in the employee handbook, outlining the vacation that has been given to the secondary road department for a long time. And that is pretty much everything that I have. I guess the one thing I do have, last week, it was on the agenda to talk a little bit about drainage district up in Minnesota. They're bringing a drain, a tile. I did receive an email in the afternoon asking for providing information from Marissa Lohr, who is Minnesota's drainage district manager. Is the board comfortable with putting concrete pipe in that roadway? There was discussion about changing that, and I just wanted to verify. After the meeting, like I say, I received actually I was copied, I think, on that, so. If it is, I will answer for the board to Marissa.
I thought we,
I just wanted to make
Decided.
sure, because this came up for whatever reason after the board discussed it, so. Okay.
I didn't say.
I do not have anything else.
What I mentioned this morning with that culvert and cleaning out under the road there, I know Nathan Schmidt does have measurements and pictures and things. I have them. I ran over my phone a couple months ago and I lost all them. I need to get them back, as well. But, do you want me to get them from Nathan and send them to you, or do you wanna communicate with him, or?
I'll communicate with Nathan.
Okay, okay. Appreciate that.
Sure. Is there an investigation into cleaning that ditch? Or was this just
That-
about the road crossing?
This was, the issue there is there's a I think it's a 26-inch main that runs right there to the gravel road. And there's those 2 big culverts that go on the east-west gravel road. To the south, there's that stretch through Munson CRP in the corner. And then that dumps under the road there and goes into the open ditch on the west side of the road. Something is blocked there majorly, and from the investigation that Nathan had done, he thought the best place to start would be cleaning that out underneath the roadway, cause that seemed to be a barrier to a lot of the water flow. I mean, there's probably 30 acres there that gets drowned out the last few, and it just gets worse. So that was the culprit of why the request was made. So, something to look into anyway.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
by the same token, if, with any drainage, you gotta have that outlet, so I just wondered whether he was going to go further
Look at the
to a
ditch.
point where that
I guess that'd be up to the
ditch,
private landowners, yeah.
right, that's kind of what I was curious about,
Mhm.
if they are talking about doing that, and I don't know how far. We will look at it and go from there, Chris.
And probably the private landowners aren't as motivated to do it because it's not their, it's not their land that the water's being backed up into. So I don't know how you work that out as a, in that situation, but.
I can't comment, I'm not familiar at all, don't know what we're talking about.
You know where Don Besh lives?
I do not, but I
Okay.
can figure it out.
Okay. Alright, thanks Doug.
Thank you.
Well, Heather is here, we're up to drainage, is it okay if we just roll through this quick here?
Actually, I had one more quick question while
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still here.
Okay,
Old Highway 18, I was headed over towards Wesley, on Thursday, and I noticed that Prairie Creek there where it, runs along the ditch there.
yeah.
I noticed there's some sloughing there. Is that responsibility of the drainage district, or would that fall under secondary roads?
Is this on the south?
On the south side of the
Bank?
road, yeah.
Where we put a bunch of riprap?
That is not the road
Okay,
department.
okay. So then that'll be a drainage.
Where all that riprap is?
I don't see riprap in there.
All the rocks?
Before the rocks, it's
Oh, before
further- Yeah, further west of the rocks, there's
Okay.
some pretty good,
Sloughing?
yep,
Okay.
so. I should have taken a picture of that.
I can go look at that.
Yeah. That's all I had for you guys.
Okay, drainage repair requests, we have two this morning. Go ahead, Amber.
Alright, I have repair request number 35, Drainage District 78, lateral 6, northwest of the northwest, Buffalo Township, section 14. It's Kyle Franzen, this tile had a blowout and has since collapsed, the line causing flooding to occur. Previously fixed, in request number 2024-21, same issues again. The request, Brant Farm Drainage, that's who they'd like it to go to, is
Okay.
that why you put it on there?
Yeah.
It's on there,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's fine, you
Okay.
can go ahead and do that. And then I'll talk with, well, Bill is who I usually talk to about that and see why we feel like it occurred again, same problem.
Okay.
Okay, but that's all I have.
I've got number 36 in lead yard 24, it's along D90 lot 1, that was a section, there was a lot of trees, it was replaced with non-perforated tile. I know Royce asked about getting an intake in there, so it should be pretty simple, but, yeah, that's the request I got.
Okay, need a motion for supervisors to handle their requests.
So moved.
Motion by Wactor,
I can second.
second by Haas. Discussion on the requests. Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I didn't say aye, but I wasn't opposed either.
4 ayes and 1 opposition, no.
I'm ready unanimous.
Okay, unanimously passed. Ayes or not? Okay.
Heather, can I ask a favor of you? Could you possibly, when you send this one, could you send that?
I don't.
2024-21, just so they have
Yeah, we're
reference of
down
that?
to, it's this
Okay.
intersection just south.
Alright, perfect, and I'll give them a call.
So this Joanne Hackman,
Okay.
Jonathan finds that.
Carter, you want me to show you roughly where that was? I've got the map pulled up and you can see.
Of what?
You can see where some of the sloughing is, but when I drove by there, it was pretty bad.
Oh, okay, okay. And there were spots there that were existing from last year too.
Right.
But they're
You can see
probably
some
getting
of it,
worse.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause you can see black earth under there, it's
That,
fairly fresh.
address that stuff.
You know,
Well,
years ago, my opinion, should've just left the creeks as they were and let them follow their natural course.
Yeah.
But I understand, but then you wouldn't have those issues, but anyway, okay.
Now you just have different issues, cause if you look at our river systems, they got that same type of thing.
I know,
all-
I have a different viewpoint on some of that than maybe most, but get crucified in the drainage hearing for that.
Uh-huh, probably.
Okay, discussion with the county auditor.
Okay, a reminder, this Thursday, the 14th, 9:00 AM, department head meeting here, for anybody who can attend. We got notification that this Sunday, the 17th, there will be a peaceful march on the courthouse grounds from 4 to 6 PM.
For what?
It's,
What are we marching for?
I don't know,
Oh, okay,
they didn't say what they're marching for, it's a Cuban population that's doing the request, so
okay.
I don't know
Okay.
what it's for.
What date is that? Okay.
Sunday.
Sunday.
17.
Okay,
Next Tuesday, we have the budget amendment public hearing at 8:30. Review and approve secondary road gravel crushing. We're gonna approve, quotes for drainage district spraying. We did get quotes from both B&W and the gentleman that came in here and asked to submit quotes.
Salvatore.
So, yes, so we'll have both of those.
what's the name of his business?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Frank Salvatore TVB spraying, I think,
TBB?
something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay,
I have it written down on my desk.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have it memorized, but it's something
Yeah.
like that.
So that will be on next week's agenda, I will let them both know that as well. I did get, notification from Jennifer Harrington from Buchanan, Bibler, Gabor and Mice, saying that she's a member of the Iowa Bar Association's Board of Governors, and in recognition of USA's 250th anniversary, the Bar Association and the State Bar Foundation would like to present commemorative 250th anniversary flags to each of Iowa's 99 counties. And they would like to present a flag to you guys and a certificate. And they would like to know when you would like to do that. I'm guessing you wanna do it during a regularly scheduled board meeting. But
Pick a
she,
day when the weather's nice so we can go outside.
she said, they'd be happy to bring, the flag, and present it to you whenever you would like.
is it kind of a special, is it just a traditional American flag, or is it a special design on it, or?
It just says commemorative flag and certificate,
Okay,
so I don't know. So, do you
What
want
day
it?
is- okay, July 7th always our first, closest meeting to July 4th.
Yeah,
We could do it just before July 4th and just do the
well, if it's,
30th.
is it something you would fly on the flagpole?
Or is it something you hang on the wall?
Yeah, I
or-
don't
I
know.
That, can we ask that question before, something that way, cause
Yeah.
if you, that's something
Send her
we
an
could
email,
fly
ask
it.
Hang
Okay.
it, hang it right here.
Yeah,
We need
okay,
to get backdrop.
okay, I will ask.
Add some variety for the people watching the movies.
Yeah.
Okay, I will ask her that and then I'll ask you again next week. Okay.
I thought we were always gonna hang up the, well, or the drainage,
Flow chart.
The
flow
The
chart.
flow chart's right
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I know, it's been sitting in here, but.
Yeah.
Should be hung right there beside the door, or, well, you do it wherever.
Anyway, go ahead,
Yeah,
Tony.
okay, so,
Another one over here.
yesterday we had the public test of election equipment, everything went well. Tomorrow absentee voting starts for the primary election, believe it or not, it's still coming. So we start absentee voting tomorrow. I already talked about 2:00 today, we'll have the meeting with Joel Roney, I think that's how you say his last name.
Yeah. that's right.
Pipeline ordinance, planning and zoning met last night.
The city?
As a board, what happens now?
We
we-
need to accept the recommendation.
So do we have a public hearing for that, or we just have a meeting, or how does that work?
Ideally, it would have been today, but, yeah, you need a public hearing for it to, I mean, you go through the same process of repealing as you do for approving, which is why it had to go to planning and zoning, they had to have their public hearing. Now it gets sent to us as a recommendation, we have our public hearing,
So, but I guess what I'm asking is, do we need to get that recommendation before we set a public hearing?
we have a recommendation,
In writing?
I guess.
I'd say they're minimum.
I haven't seen it in writing, no.
Well, they won't approve their minutes for another,
We should have whatever they voted on last night should be fine.
Yeah,
But we need to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen
oh
it.
yeah, we need to see their
Or I
recommendation.
should be able to send that over.
Okay, so I'm guessing I'm asking,
Get
And then
that,
whatever the soonest day and time is, that's what the court is wanting to see.
What was it, 20 days for a public hearing?
what is
No,
it,
it's-
4 and 20,
More than
isn't it?
4, less than 20.
Yeah. Okay, so set a public hearing, and so a notice is gonna have to be sent out,
Right,
so I'm guessing Corey does that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Honestly, that should
yeah.
come from our, yes,
okay,
absolutely.
and it'll have to be published and, okay. So Corey needs to give me that, okay.
that's what I'm
we
gonna
need to
ask,
set it- we
can
need
he
to
do
set a
that
date and
before the
time
minutes
for
are
that.
approved?
oh yeah.
Did
Okay.
when that question was asked, who did that come from? Cause didn't they send us, and the attorney sent us a letter asking if we wanted help repealing that?
yep,
Yes,
months ago.
Yeah, so, did they have in that letter or email our process then?
Yep.
So I would reflect back to that, probably Tammy, just to be sure
Yeah.
that we just follow that process and coordinate that with Corey.
Mhm.
And we do need to have an agenda item to set the date and time for that. That's probably going to be on next week's agenda then. For setting a date
Correct.
and time for a public hearing, we need to
Correct.
have a motion.
So we'll do that next week.
okay,
I think we are the last county
Well,
To-
at least we're getting it
to
done.
do it, so at least we're in progress, yeah.
Not that we want to.
That was discussed last night too,
what was,
that we don't want to.
oh,
Is that right, I hear you right?
Yeah,
and then, we received an email from Bob Goodwin wanting some clarification on some things, I think we need to reply together, because I'm not exactly sure the answer to all of his questions, so, I think, I don't know, Kyle, Amber, who did it all come to, we need to get together and look at that and send it back.
I don't know what we're talking, so.
I didn't get it.
When did that come in?
Yesterday, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was Friday,
Friday?
yeah. So I looked at it and it was Kyle and Bertine, but I think all the board probably needs, that was came from Bob, but I think all of us need these emails.
Was it from
I
now?
wasn't. A little more aggressive than I thought.
I mean, yeah, one of the questions that's obvious, well, yes. How they're trying to show us collaterals.
I was on Wednesday.
No, you were not.
Okay.
It was Kyle, Amber, Tammy, and Nick.
I don't know, my memory's not so good anymore, but it's getting a little concerned that.
One of them, you know, I don't, we probably can't really talk about it out loud.
No, that's why I'd like to, if we could sit down sometime this week and get those questions answered and get those responses back to him. I think that would be helpful. I did find some information.
Some of it is just so.
But some of it, I think it'd be good if we could get together. And then that is all I have.
Okay. Josh, any meetings, things you wanna
Well-
talk about?
Was supposed to have board of directors meeting for 9 o'clock last night. I tried zooming into it and Zoom was not working, so I couldn't get into it, but I did get the minutes. Haven't had a chance to look over it because I just got it, so.
Okay. Yes, Amber?
No, I didn't have any meetings, but I had a question, I don't know why. It was when we were talking about comp time, then I put a note on here to maybe ask you, Tammy, is there a list of exempt and non-exempt employees?
So, no, I didn't mean that, that's funny, but
No, I
this-
probably expected that, you know,
this
just.
has been something Donna has been trying to work on for the last couple of years, and that's why she's asked department heads to complete job descriptions, because on the job descriptions, it says if they're exempt or non-exempt. And really, she hasn't, I think she's gotten some, but not all.
Because isn't that an issue when it comes to comp time?
Absolutely.
If
it
you're,
is.
and I don't know, is it when you're exempt, you don't get comp time?
Correct.
So, I mean, I think we need to really make sure that that's being followed.
I agree, cause we have had issues before, with that, and it really comes into effect when somebody retires or leaves employment, because
Exactly.
then you get paid out for comp time,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be paid for comp time, you shouldn't be able to earn, so. It has been an issue before, and it does need to be addressed.
Yeah, so, well, I guess maybe that's something, I guess we're gonna have to add to our to-do list for the new person maybe, is to get to the bottom of that so that we can have that clarified.
So I should be starting that for July,
Because
so
I
it's
know-
on me to-do list.
Well,
Why are department heads ignoring Donna's request?
That's my question.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
why
we
wait,
need that.
why wait for 2 more months?
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that, I just figured.
Okay,
Donna
maybe
has
I'll
other
send
stuff
out-
she has to
Maybe
do.
we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Maybe I'll send, yeah, we can talk about it Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
And then for not, everybody who's not there, cause I know there's a couple that aren't gonna be there, I can send an email reminding them that she needs them ASAP.
Yeah, and you know, they can say the board's requesting it too, because I think we do need to, seems like, I don't know, when I heard the exempt, non-exempt, I was like, oh, that was kind of an issue back when I was the auditor too, and we were trying to get all of that established of who was and who wasn't, so I kinda wanted to know, is
Yeah.
that still an issue?
It is.
Okay.
So we will bring that up Thursday, and I will check with Donna to see if she, knows what departments we're still needing that information.
Yeah. That's all I had.
Okay, Kyle? Howard?
Came to the P and Z last night, but, you know, everybody knows about that.
Yeah, you did.
I'll certainly make any plans to be here on Thursday, because I don't have your issue there and things like that, but.
I'll give you a few if you want.
Keep going, you're fine.
Can I say, I apologize, we did have, I
Amber went to the EMS.
attended the
Oh.
EMS meeting for Kyle. You know, we talked about a lot of different things, talked about, and I had them all in my notes that I didn't bring. But talked about, and there's stuff that's gonna come, you know, to the board. You know, of course, we went through the financials and everything, where we're sitting, what his fund balance was. His fund balance is over $1 million, so that's a good thing. It's just cause I asked the question, cause I had asked you the fund balance. He does have a healthy fund balance, but yet the money that he has yet to expend,
Yeah,
he's almost to that point, so
the
that,
budgeted amount is
Yeah.
different, and that's where
yeah.
I
so
just said
that's-
the wrong words last week,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, cause his fund balance is fine, it's just
the budgeted amount.
just what he budgeted for expenses.
Yes.
He's very, very close on.
Yes.
And then talked about a response vehicle, that he'll be bringing forth to the board. oh boy, there's probably more, and I apologize, I didn't bring my notes, but, you know, a big part of it was financials and how many calls they took and things like that, so.
So, just a question, I'm not sure I understood. So he's gonna send to the board something to the same effect that was discussed last night, or?
So, yeah, so things like that he needs approved, so the advisory board kinda, they act on it, but yet they're not really a decision-making board. And the things they decide on, Phil brings to the board, so like that response,
They make recommendations.
they
to the
make
supervisors.
recommendations, so they're, when they
So-
make a motion, it's a recommendation to us.
So like Josh, and maybe he can come back next week with his minute stuff, can you bring that stuff next week?
I can, absolutely, yeah, I forgot it, cause we
Yeah,
talked about a bunch of different stuff. But, and one thing was the response vehicle that he's gonna wanna purchase, so I know that's gonna come before the board, yes, so. There's some other things that aren't, it's just mainly discussion, we had discussion too about the Sway City. That was something we did right away and Will was there, the condition of the Sway City building, and possibilities, so. And that will definitely be something that has to come to the board if that continues to, I don't know if fester's the right word, but I'm gonna say fester,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a problem evidently.
Has been for a long time, it seems like. Do you have anything else?
Nothing besides that.
Okay. Yeah, I just went to the planning and zoning meeting, last night. They discussed for a little bit, I know a member of the public came and asked them if they could maybe just eliminate certain language within 300A rather than eliminate, or repeal the entire 300A section, pertaining to the setbacks. And in general, the advice from legal counsel was not to do that and to just repeal that section. Because there are things like drainage crossings, road crossings, other provisions, stuff dealing with permits that is covered in 300 as a whole. The rest of the zoning ordinance, this is just pertaining to our setbacks is what the courts denied us the ability to regulate, so. So they discussed that a little bit, but ended up just recommending to us that we repeal the entire section. Yeah. So, otherwise, no, I don't have any meetings. I just wanna bring up when Dar was here this morning, saying that the hospital is willing to contribute up to $1 million. Just a point worth noting, that at least they finally came back with something to that effect. I still don't know that it's worth the county tax dollars to do that.
Well, I don't think we have the tax dollars to do it at this moment, maybe going forward, if we can save a little bit of money
Right.
from our fund balances, things like that, but then they put that 35% in there of the reserve, but,
Certainly not money we're gonna come up with this year,
no.
yeah, so, so if this is something the hospital wants to get rolling and moving forward with, whether they're building their own or helping with the transition or whatever, that's not gonna happen this year,
No,
so. My thoughts.
my thoughts too.
Yeah, other than that, that's all I had,
Okay,
so I'll need to take a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Motion by Garmin, second by Wactor, very quick second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, unanimous, we are adjourned at 11:24. You wanna be done by noon, we're done by noon.
You wanna see that spot?
Sure.